How we do it. All right, it's another beautiful Saturday here at the Brownstone Powwow. Bronzebird speaking. This is Plain Valley, Dimensional Atmosphere Part 2. Now, before I get into the discussion, I actually found it great, the discussion we had last week. Shout outs to Antisocial Socialite, shout outs to Gold Professor, shout outs to Demetrius, and shout outs to Wacky World of OTV. I definitely do think we did hit a lot of things on the head when we dove into it specifically about the topic of conversation geared towards the idea of God, the existence of a God, what previous societies had to worship as their gods, right? And then, obviously you understand that the dimensional atmosphere last week was geared towards spirituality because nowadays there's a lot of components to spirituality. You got people I just seen online yesterday, I believe, that was talking about they're a spiritual agnostic person. That's something I'm going to dig up in the future. You understand what I'm saying? That I'm going to pick up on and that I'm going to make sure that I'm definitely going to talk about. Hold on. I just don't like the fact that I didn't have my avatar on. There we go. So, peace to all the chiefs and deers in the chat, the ones that's listening. I appreciate you guys. Really quickly, today has been a crazy ass day for Bronzebird. First of all, it is hot as hell outside. It's humid hot, okay? It's humid outside. It's freaking nuts. It's freaking nuts, right? Now I understand it's June 4th. It's only about like maybe 16 days, 17 days until the actual summer equinox happens, and you know how it's going to be. Now, we have to take into account that it's going to be restricted because it's still COVID. You understand what I'm saying? So it's going to be a different type of playing field this summer. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, because things are slowly opening back up. It's not all the way opening back up, but it's slowly opening back up. Okay? So what I can suggest to everybody is just really make sure that this summer you keep yourself safe. Regardless if you believe COVID exists or not, just protect yourself. I don't want people getting harmed. I don't want nobody, coming into a situation where they're getting harmed and everything out here, because people are wild. People are really wild. So I definitely want to make sure I put that on the table before I begin. But just to reflect, there was a previous panelist who right now is mad at me for whatever reason. I don't know why this brother is mad at me, but he's mad at me. He had brought up something that was pretty interesting that actually included in my notes for tonight that I was going to talk about later on when the show starts to begin. We talked about indigo children last week, but there's another component to the whole entire spirituality thing and the chosen children, for lack of a better term, when talking about spirituality. I just know indigo children, but there is another component to the indigo children that wasn't spoke about last stream, because I just found that out last week, right? And also we have to dig into the crates of, spirituality has to come from the mind. It's the mindset first. Now, I do believe, me personally, I do believe there is a higher power, there is a higher entity. I do say it's the Most High. I definitely do believe that, there's a reason to everything. Each and every one of you that's in this chat, whether you have a YouTube channel, whether you make art, whether you don't make art, whether you speak with your voice, whether you write, whether you take photography, whether you make music, you all have a purpose here. If I didn't say it last week, then I'm saying it again. If I did say it last week, then I'm saying it again. Each and every one of you have a purpose. Even if I disagree with your purpose and what you're talking about, you have a purpose. Now, some of it may be malicious, some of it may be for good intent. But the important point about it is from my graces, from where I stand, or as Bronzebird, where I fly, I definitely will look down, and I'm not talking about looking down as like insulting you. Looking down upon the people who's doing the everyday work to improve themselves. Each and every soul that is on this plane of life, we call, is doing exactly what they have to do to be happy. Now, the concept of heaven is something I really would like to hear from people tonight on this panel, because I was actually reading the Shahrazad Ali book today, and I was sitting up there looking at one of the chapters. It was talking about heaven, right? It was a sentence that mentioned heaven, heaven, and then it said in parentheses, happiness. So then I thought about it. I said, what do you want your heaven to be? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want your heaven to be? Because everybody thinks heaven is supposed to be these purely white gates and them sitting up there seeing a white Jesus with long hair and a toga, right? You see him in a long outfit or whatever and stuff like that. And then he touches you on the forehead and says, "You've been good, my son. You've done the job." And then you see all the doves flying and all this other stuff. Okay, I'm Bronzebird, so you're not gonna see me flying with doves. I'm just letting you know that. Okay, but the point of what I'm trying to say is, let's dig into this topic of conversation about heaven, right? Happiness. We're all put on this earth for one thing and one thing only, to fulfill our happiness, even if it isn't 100%. How close to your happiness will you get to? Now, for me, I know I still have a lot to work to do to get to my happiness and where I want to be in life. And I'm fine with that. I admit that. That's cool with me. I'm cool with that. Glad you're back, B9. But I'm saying this because we all have a mission, right? And the thing about it is about happiness. Is your happiness going to restaurants every day and eating food? Is your happiness making music? Is your happiness doing YouTube videos? What is your happiness? What is your heaven? You understand? Because that's the important part. We definitely want to make sure that when we go to our dimensional planes and we ascend into the next level of life, that we're not making our life be regretful. We're making our life be more or less worth our while. And there's a lot of people who don't find it until later on in life. But the important thing is that you find it. Even if you have a mustard seed of the accomplishments you've made in your life, you should celebrate that. Too many times I hear people who say, "Oh, well, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do, or I hate life because I don't feel confident about myself in this, that, and third." I tell you, sometimes I hear from people who's younger than me. Sometimes I hear from people who's older than me. The important thing is your journey. That's the most important thing that you have to understand about this here life. Your journey. What does it entail? What are you trying to do to make sure that you're getting on that journey, the stumps in the road or the stumps in the journey, and make sure that you go over it and make sure you get to the finish line of that journey before you ascend into the other dimensional plane? That's the most important thing. And I think a lot of people should understand that. That's why I think more of the creatives, more of the people who's just not really there, usually they don't try to stay in corporate America. They don't try to stay in corporate America because they feel like their vision is more important than a 9-to-5 and picking up checks every day and every day out to sit up there and agree with the man. You understand what I'm saying? And you can't blame them for that. We had a lot of visionaries in our time period. I mean, for instance, one of my favorite, even though I didn't listen to crazy amounts of his music, but he definitely was one of my favorite like artists of all time was Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix, All Along the Watchtower. You know how the song goes. All Along the Watchtower. That song, right? And the thing about it is, when you started to understand who Jimi Hendrix was, he was always going outside the lines, right? He's admitted, his lineage, real quick, I think his lineage was like, he was a Cherokee, aka Inuanya, and he was Mexican and mixed with something else. But that's not the point. I just get excited when I hear about Aboriginal Americans being talked about. And, they find out what their lineage is. I just get excited about that. But anyway, Jimi Hendrix was one of them. Now he's revered as one of the best guitarists of all time. You have a lot of people out here who's done their soul mission and their soul finding and finally found it and gave it back to the world in one piece. Now, this is the thing. Every talent that you have is supposed to be a selfish thing. That's why people need to understand the true definition of what being selfish is. Now, you can be selfish with a bad intent, but you can be selfish with a good intent. That's just my opinion. Because at the end of the day, when you're being selfish to yourself, it's meaning that you're taking care of your mentality, your mental state, your physical state, what you're trying to do to become a better person. That's why I disagree when people say, "Oh, you're being so selfish." When you take time to, chill by yourself, to hang out by yourself, to go out on dates by yourself, to do things by yourself in order to maximize who you are and to ascend to a higher level. It's just like when you remember the movie The Last Dragon that came out in the 1980s, and they had to do Bruce Leroy, there's a symbolism in that. A very big symbolism in that movie. Being bullied down by the big old man who's 6'7" or 6'8". He's just tall. We just know that. And the scrawny little guy who's sitting up there trying to wrestle, and he's trying to care for everybody else when it comes to the jiu-jitsu or the you know what I mean, the whole entire thing itself. What you start to understand, what he had to understand is the power and the seed within inside of himself. So you see that iconic scene near the end of the movie, and the guy that's 6'8" is bullying him and saying, "Who is the master?" He says, "I am." And you see the 6'8" dude getting all mad and upset. He's like, "Excuse me?" Yeah, show enough. You know that, B9. Show enough was getting all mad, was sitting up there saying, "You said what you said, motherfucker?" And Bruce Leroy was like, "I am." And he knew that he wasn't going to get intimidated by show enough, and that he was going to fight back, even if that means using all of his strength and getting that glow within inside his body in order to fight back against that man. You understand? And that's a symbolism for life. You can take this, there's a lot of symbolisms to that scene alone in that movie. But the most important thing that you have to take from that movie, as much as I could say it as Bronzebird, I can only say is that society will get you down. Specifically, when I make a lot of my content towards so-called black men, we have to have the understanding, yes, the society is against you. Everybody's trying to gear themselves against the so-called black men, right? They are. There's no way of fighting it and trying to say it's not true. It's true. We see it every day. We see it every time they want to do stupid stuff like say something's wrong with your masculinity and all these different things. But again, it's going back to my point that it's about society trying to kick you down, people trying to kick you down, your own mentality trying to kick you down. What are you doing to fight against that show enough? When do you see your inner glow in order to fight against that show enough? You understand? That's exactly that's what I can take from it. Anybody else can have their own opinion on it, but that's mainly what I take from it. But I just want you guys to understand, at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. The fight of finding yourself and also being on that journey to get to your heaven, to get to your happiness. Now, I just love to talk last week about the Most High, God, Jesus, whatever you want to call it. Shout out to my dude, Go Professor, giving an alternative view about it. Demetrius put his 2 cents in, and the Antisocial Socialite put her thoughts in, and I thought it was dope. But tonight's episode, I think I'm gonna do a series a little bit about this whole entire topic about the dimensional plane. So there might be a part 3 and part 4 to it, not next week, but I just wanted to get that off the table because it was just very interesting to me. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was just definitely interesting to me, the topics and the conversation that came up, and I thought it was a pretty cool thing. So briefly, real quick, I'm going to bring in an article so that I can show you guys what I'm talking about. I just got like two more articles after this I got to go through, and then I'll open the panel up and we can watch a video together, because there's going to be something I'm going to be talking about tonight that's going to be called ecosexuals. That's right. Ecosexuals. Do you know what an ecosexual is? And if you know what an ecosexual is, please make sure that you comment in the comment section right now. Put a 1 in the chat if you know what an ecosexual is. If you don't know what an ecosexual is, put a 2. All right? So, yeah, he doesn't. I already see the comments, don't know what that is. So let me briefly explain to you, Demetrius, briefly. An ecosexual is supposed to be someone who's sexually attracted to nature. That means that they can make out with trees, make out with plants, and have sexual intercourse with those type of nature, basically. That's exactly what an ecosexual is. And I'm gonna show you. Yeah, you don't. All right, cool. Y'all don't know what that is. No problem. When I drop the link for the panel, I'm gonna make sure that I put that. We gonna watch the video together so that y'all can get a view of what I'm talking about. Cause I've already seen y'all. Y'all like, what the hell are you talking about, Bronzebird? But I got y'all. Please don't think for a second. I got y'all on that. Don't worry about that. But I'm gonna show you guys 3 articles tonight to put down my synopsis and all these different things, and then We're going to watch a video. I'm going to invite whoever wants to come on a panel to watch a video with me. And then, of course, there's going to be the afterthought discussion. Not exactly a herbivore B9. Not exactly that. But, that, actually, they would be against eating meat anyway because they want to cherish nature. So that wouldn't be ecosexual. So, no, it wouldn't be that. Let me show you real quick. Hold on, you guys. All right. So this is the first article of the night. This is Starseed. As much as this guy don't like me, who definitely had a problem with something I said on a previous stream, it's all good because he actually enlightened me to find out about this article. This is called a starseed, and it is related to indigo children, but I never knew what a starseed was. I'm literally looking this up like the other day, so bear with me. So signs you're a starseed, plus what to do about it. If you ever heard the term starseed or the name is brand new to you, I'm going to paint the picture for you so you can determine if you're a starseed or what to do about it, and what to do about it. What is a starseed? A starseed is an old soul with deep spiritual wisdom that's been lying dormant, having arrived from other solar systems or star constellations. They've had many incarnations in other star systems, incarnating on Earth at various times. The children of these star seeds, the indigo, crystal, and rainbow, have incarnated fewer times. They are also star seeds, but not necessarily new souls. They've typically had just been on Earth fewer times. At some point, the star seeds choose to incarnate on Earth to share their light, knowledge, and participate in the planet's evolution to fulfill the divine mission and bring positive change to the world. The first inkling you may have that you might be a starseed is that you don't belong here. I've written before about my life as an indigo being a type of starseed. We talked about indigo children last week. I've never felt like I belong here. And for years, I've assumed it to me that I just hate California. Now I know that it's not so much I loathe being in California, although I certainly do hate living here for the moment. It's about Earth is a foreign place for me. Starseeds are very empathetic, and when they activate their powers during a spiritual awakening, it allows them to step into their purpose to do something about the problems they see in the world. Basically, you're an overachieving spiritual babe, here to remember who you truly are and trust your intuition. You do that through dreams, near-death experiences, or other life-changing experiences. You're being called to shed the programming that you've been taught here, deal with the trauma and loss in your life so you can get on the path of your soul's growth. Sounds kind of overwhelming, right? Help the world. I know for me at first I was like, come on, bruh. My little platform in my corner of the interest isn't going to help the world. But when you think about how does change in the world start? By making a positive impact on other people. You don't have to help everyone on the planet. It starts with one person. You are then helping the next person and the next person. Here's the one thing you must know. Just because you are a starseed or have an inkling that you may be the one doesn't mean that your purpose will be awakened. For that to happen, you have to choose to allow it to happen by trusting the process, the history you've lived, and decide to take the path less taken. Okay, so this is where they're really going to get it in about the idea of what a starseed is. Starseed signs, just like anything on the internet, when you go through and try to figure out something, you will find a bunch of different signs of what it means to be a starseed. For me, some of it is just a bit too out there for even me to latch onto. So I will share with you the signs that make sense to me and ask you to keep what resonates and discard what doesn't. Because if we're being honest, there's no handbook for this stuff. Early on, you were deemed to be a space cadet. As a kid, people called you out at weird, different, odd, whatever adjective they chose to let you know that you're not like the rest. Thank God. You're a wisdom seeker, always looking to answer those deep questions like, what's the meaning of life? Why am I here? Why is the word abbreviation so long? You know those questions that keep you up and make your mind feel like it always has 900 browser tabs open. You feel like you don't belong here. No matter where here is, you feel like you're always a tourist no matter where you are. But find glimmers of belonging when you encounter like-minded souls who feel the same way. At times you can become agoraphobic because going out in the world can be too much in terms of energy, negativity, and disappointed with what we see happening in the world. You will have to force yourself to integrate into society, but always do it on your own terms. Well, I didn't say that. And along the way, you'll find your community. You are very intuitive and psychic. Nothing gets by you, and you can spot a phony from a mile away. You've got a way of knowing things that others don't. Sometimes you'll get tagged as a know-it-all or judgmental. Is you a person as a bad seed before they've revealed their real side to the world. Your empathy can be crippling. You're so empathetic that you need to limit your time in crowds or at parties. At a party, you might be the person who seeks out the dog or cat to hang out with because you get to each other. Animals and babies are drawn to you. You find that when there is a baby that seems not to like anyone else at a party, they love you. They know you get it, or at least are on the path to getting it. And because they've recently seen the face of God, they see someone in you that is also connected to the divine. Animals trust you, and you may find that you're the best damn animal massage therapist that animals has ever met. You're the epitome of mystery diagnosis. Ever go to the doctor with a complaint and left them confused? They have you take all these tests that they have, and still they're unable to figure out why you're cold all the time, or days of extreme fatigue when you've done nothing to be exhausted over. Maybe it's the random heart palpitations as your heart chakra is rebalancing, or the tingling in your hands and feet as your energy continues to align. Memory lapses and headaches happen out of the blue as your crown chakra continues to open. Of course, it should go without saying, see a doctor to make sure you don't have any serious issues going on before you decide you're a starseed having a starseed experience. You're spiritual. Beyond the constraints of religion and orthodoxy, you are eager to learn as much as you can about spirituality and your spiritual path. The path your parents laid out didn't jive with you, so as you became an adult, you've been on a lifelong journey to figure out the mysteries of the universe, which at times has left you with some guilt and shame in regards to learning about that which many would label as outside the lines of traditional religion and itching towards the occult and new age. Hidden knowledge mysteries of the world are your jam. From the pyramids and the Bermuda Triangle to aliens and ghosts, you're beyond intrigued. It leads you on the ley lines, energy, portals, Atlantis, quantum physics, physics abilities, astrology, numerology, tarot, and the list goes on. You can't get enough, and you'll never get enough because you have an idea that what's being taught on Earth is a sanitized version of history, and they've got to be hiding something, right? Paranormal is normal. You've had an experience with spirits for a while. Hold on. Checking on you guys. Oh, you peep. Alright. Where was I? You've had an experience with spirits for a while. Maybe you've had these experiences and then shut off your abilities after an experience, or the experiences have never stopped. If metaphysics was a topic in high school, you'd be in the honors class. Once you found metaphysics, or you're new to it, you feel like you've stumbled upon the key you've been looking for, and helping you to answer those questions you've been asking all your life. And while I don't think we're ever supposed to uncover the mysteries of life, you feel like metaphysics makes so much sense that you can't understand when others who don't know a thing about it are quick to dismiss it. Oh soul in aisle 1. People instinctively spill their secrets to you and seek your advice to make them feel better. They may be older than you, but they just know that you'll be able to help. Because you're always seeking the knowledge, you always had some excellent advice to share that can help others when it comes to substantial issues. Petty bullshit annoys you to no end. That is true. I get annoyed by petty bullshit. People that get upset about the dumbest things in life bother you. They think you're aloof and believe you are better than everyone else. While you shake your head, wondering why they don't seek more profound meaning and invest time in self-improvement, you live beyond the 3D muggle world and find yourself having an aversion to being concerned with the materialistic part of life that so many others are enamored with. Okay, these are long as hell. I'm trying to get all of these out of the way. Okay, I got like 5 more. You know you've got a big purpose but struggle to identify it. I get it. Here you are dropped on this planet, become an adult, and know that you're here for more. But what exactly? Discovering what your purpose will require you to lose your ego, tune into God, and forget everything you've been taught here to see your true path. You're more rock and roll than others. And by that, I don't mean necessarily that you love rock music as much as you genuinely have a hard time with authority. Whether it's your boss, the government, society, whoever, you value freedom so much because being enslaved to anything or anyone goes against what you believe in. Holistic could be your middle name. You will look for any natural remedy that you can find because you know natural healing isn't a fad. You've seen how alternate healing modalities have improved your life. Many friends are acquaintances. There are very few that generally get you or ever see the whole you. You develop a deep bond with very few here. You love being of service to others. It's the reason why you're here. After all, helping others is something you find yourself doing all the time. Even if you know that it may not be in your best interest, finding yourself at times being taken advantage of by the takers of this world. You see repeating numbers. Those repeating numbers, also known as angel numbers, show up when you're beginning to have a spiritual awakening. The more that you pay attention to these numbers, you'll be able to discern what it means for your life. As you take the right steps aligning with your purpose, see these numbers as affirmations or new clues of what to pay attention to. And what do you think about that? Hold on, I'm just gonna look at the comments real quick. Okay. It's not letting me look at the comments. Okay, so alright. I want you guys to respond to that. I'm just gonna do a quick run around on these 2 articles that I have in my tab. And then I'm gonna get busy on, starting the show. Why is this train not letting me see y'all comments? All right, whoever just commented, I don't see your comments at the moment. Make sure that I'll see it in a little bit, but I don't see your comments right now. But I'm gonna share my screen again so we get busy on this other article real quick. You know what I'm saying? All right. So last week I made sure that I was talking about the 6 dimensions, and I was talking about dimensions of the mind. So I briefly just want to go over this real quick. I'm only in a rush because I want to start doing YouTube videos, like showing you guys the videos for tonight. So I'm going to try to browse through this article as much as possible. But this is Calm Down Mind, Understanding the 6 Dimensions of the Human Mind. I may skip around this article so we can get to the point of the article. All human minds operate under 6 dimensions: love, fear, joy, hatred, boredom, and sexuality. These 6 dimensions are present in all human minds, and its natural makeup also determines the intensity of some of these dimensions. It's not possible to ever erase one of these dimensions totally from the mind, and people who are trying to do so are usually just suppressing their mind, and this form of suppression only leads to inner resistance, which manifests as suffering of some form or the other. I'm going to just get to the actual dimensions. So the first one is love. This is obviously one of the light natures of the mind. All minds are capable of love. The various forms in which a mind expresses love are care, empathy, service, charity, tenderness, compassion, romance, physical and emotional, passion, infatuation, obsession, love-based, and devotion. Every mind has the capacity for all these expressions, and in a lifetime, most of us usually express all these forms of love in some way or the other. The mind has more capacity for love when it feels secure and can and usually will render love to low priority when it has to worry about its survival. I'm not going to do the examples. I'm just going to do the straight up dimensions. Fear. Number 2. This is a dark nature in the mind. All minds have a tendency towards fear, some more than others, depending on the natural makeup. A fearful mind is a huge source of disturbance because it constantly creates resistance to your movement, but it's not possible to suppress this dimension of the mind. But as you become conscious, as your awareness becomes stable, you can stop identifying with the mind's fear and just let them be. In one sense, you stop fearing the mind's fears. A mind that has strong proclivity towards fear will keep producing fear-based thoughts. But when you become conscious, you stop fueling this nature of the mind, and it starts losing its intensity and power to influence your vibrations in any strong way. In other words, you start moving from a place of inspiration/wisdom and are not dominated by fears. Fear is usually the strongest catalyst that pushes you to wake up, to awaken from the mind. You can read this post, Fear is a Catalyst from Awakening. Y'all can check that out. I'll put the link down after the stream for more insight on it. The various forms of that fear can take in the human mind are panic, anxiety, worry, concern, horror, depression, guilt, insecurity, obsession, fear-based, negative excitement, nervousness, and restlessness. There will never come a time when a human mind can be fully free of fear. It's not possible because fear is a dimension ingrained in it. So it's not about reaching some state where your mind starts producing fear, but rather about reaching a consciousness or awareness where you are no longer influenced by the mind's fear. The more stable your awareness is, the less likely you are to be pulled in by the mind's fears. Number 3, joy. This is obviously a light nature in the mind. Joy is basically the natural vibration of the being or life energy that you essentially are. And hence, whenever the mind is joyful, it is most aligned with its life stream. This is the one reason why people pursue joy for their mind, because in a joyful state, there is no resistance in their body and thus it feels good. The various expressions of joy in the human mind are excitement, exhilaration, sensual pleasure, enjoying sight, smell, sound, touch, and taste, peace/calm, enthusiasm, and relaxation. All minds have a capacity for joy, but some minds are more inclined to peaceful expressions of joy like relaxation and serenity, while some minds prefer more boisterous expressions of joy like excitement, exhilaration, and enthusiasm. There is usually a balance where we like some peace and we also like some excitement. It's important to give vent to this dimension of the mind. There are some people who suppress their joy out of fear, usually decline from joy orientation because of feeling of guilt or suffering oriented thinking. Since joy is the vibration that comes closest to the natural vibration of life energy, it's important to allow your mind as much opportunity for joy as possible while also allowing the wisdom of your awareness to be present so that you don't end up going overboard into overindulgence or some unwise actions. Number 4, hatred. This is a dark nature present in the mind. All minds have this dimension and it plays an important role in deciding your preferences, your likes and dislikes. Hatred is a dimension ingrained in the mind and there is no getting away from it. And people who try to suppress the mind when it produces hate-based thoughts usually end up creating a lot of pent-up negative energy inside their body, which becomes highly toxic and dysfunctional. The various ways in which hatred expresses in the mind are resentment, criticism, jealousy, possessiveness, dislike, vanity, stress, frustration, anger, irritation, impatience, dissatisfaction, suspicion, inferiority, apathy, and aggressiveness. When you understand that hatred is a dimension of the mind, you let go of the futile effort to change this part of it and work towards simply not making it personal. by not becoming totally identified with it and letting the mind have its movement. When you are stable in your space of awareness, you can simply allow the mind the freedom to have its hate-based thoughts and not give energy to them. When you try to suppress the hate-based thoughts in the mind, you directly give them a lot of fuel because you are of your fear, which is a form of an interest slash attention. If you don't make the hate-based thoughts of your mind personal, you will not be judging yourself for the thoughts of the mind and would simply let it be. With time, the mind will slowly lose intensity, and its hate-based thoughts will not have an influence on your vibration. This does not mean the mind will hate-based thoughts fully, but they will not have an intensity to influence your vibration or state of being. Number 5, boredom. This is basically a dark nature in the mind. Boredom is a state when the mind feels a sense of disinterest with the now moment. Boredom is mostly a harmless state, but prolonged boredom can lead to states of depression. This dimension of the mind motivates it to pursue creative endeavors and entertainment, which allows for new desires and thus allows for expansion in physical life. So, like all dimensions of the mind, this dimension also serves a useful purpose of providing contrast and growth when allowed fully. When boredom arises, just allow it fully instead of trying to suppress it. Get a real sense of the feeling of boredom so that you are not running away from it or in fear of it. When you truly allow the energy of boredom, it usually transmutes. Oh, you guys still here? It usually transmutes to a sense of calm or peace, and in this place, a non-resistance inspired actions can come forth that brings joy of the mind. The state of boredom also helps balance the spike states of excitement, exhilaration, and is necessary to maintain a harmony in the body's energy. Last one, number 6, sexuality. I would categorize this dimension as a dark nature in the mind, mostly because of the heaviness of this energy. All minds have this dimension when not understood, channeled properly, can become a source of hang-up, depravity, guilt, or frustration. This dimension in the mind causes the movement towards reproduction and hence plays an important role in the physical realm. It's also a source of entertainment / pleasure for the mind and can also become a vista through which you express love and joy. The energy of sexuality can be quite intense, and hence its suppression creates a lot of toxicity and disharmony in the body. People who try to suppress this dimension in their mind out of fear / guilt usually end up developing patterns of hatred, usually in the form of anger inside them. Different people have different drives of their sexuality, which also changes with age, can increase or decline, and one needs to be aware that they are not suppressing or over-identifying with it. The dimension of sexuality is directly affected by other dimensions of the mind. For example, a mind that's lost in fear usually loses its interest in sex. A mind that's lost in hatred can bring a violent expression to its sexuality. Boredom can also lead to a decline in sexuality, whereas a prominently joyful state of being allows for a healthy sex drive. The core pointer to understand is that these dimensions are ingrained in the mind or hardwired, and hence cannot ever be erased out of it. As long as the mind is alive and healthy, it will exhibit all these dimensions possibly on a daily basis. What do you think about that? Oh man, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I don't feel like really going over the other article. I'm gonna just look at it for 1 second. I'm gonna see how long that is. We can go over that another day. Yeah. So those are the ones that I really want to talk about. I'm going to drop this link soon for you guys that want to come up and watch the video with me. I'm going to play some more music. We're going to go into the intermission, and I'm going to get started on the next part of this show, which is the videos. Anybody can come up. Love to hear from you guys. I'm going to put this on the intermission. We're gonna blast some music real quick. So let it begin.
Back Alley Cat.
Antisocial. Peace.
Hey.
What's going on? Glad you can make it for the second installment of the dimensional plane. What you think about the articles?
They were interesting. I didn't catch everything in all of the articles. I'm not gonna lie. I was in and out, but we're living in a strange time. That's all I can say.
I agree, and I think that it's hard for me because it's like I talk to people daily. And it's like I bring up the concept of like the end times, and people look at me like I'm talking in a strange language. And it's like
Ah,
I'm not saying anything weird. I'm literally telling you like this is what they want. Like a lot of people, because you know what it is. A lot of people make references to shows and movies in the past, and will say, "Oh, well, during this time, isn't it crazy what's happening now? This is what they did in the movie, say like 1996 or 1994." I was like, "Yeah, that's called predictive programming." Like
mm,
it's no way that you couldn't see all these different things happening because they already knew that they had it in advance. So right now what you're experiencing is the stimulation of them actually putting it into this dimension. But you're surprised because you thought that you didn't know it was going to happen. You just thought it was just a science fiction. This is why I tell people science fiction isn't science fiction. It's actually telling you the truth of what the world will be. And a lot of people
exactly.
don't
I
get that.
agree.
You know what
No,
I'm saying? So it's
no,
surprising
it's
to
true.
me. Yeah, like that's why I sit up there and I say I don't I don't know if I get naturally frustrated, but I just be sitting back like how could you not know this? This is pretty plain to see in front of your face. All the clues is there. You know, like eh, I know, but it's just crazy. But
Well,
yeah,
the
go
the
ahead.
the biggest trick the devil ever played was telling people he didn't exist. And so people have been hearing about end times for a long time. And it's like, when are these end times gonna come to an end? So, but it's like the longer time goes on, the closer to the end you actually are. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I just think that people just live in this fantasy world as if in like a lot of this stuff like because this is the interesting thing. I was watching another one of those COJ videos and it was something like he said something like um, something that like what you're witnessing now is not anything new. Like it happened before. It's just that it's happening again in this time. But then I start to think
Mm.
about what was the history of a lot of these empires before they fell. Like a lot of people talk about the Roman Empire. Now, how was it like? How was it like before that fell? And what was it like when it fell? Did everybody just die and then it just was a new spring of life afterwards? Or was it just a brand new beginning within the conscious thought that people just did it whatever it was before then, and then now they have a different view and outlook on life because of what the fall of society would have been. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
I remember the Roman Empire, but forgive me, it's like it's really how do I say it? It's rusty because I remember it. Like you know what I'm saying? I remember the history. I did. You know, I remember going on in high school. We studied the Roman Empire. We studied the Old World. We studied like I remember one of my favorite time periods. They were studying about the Vigonites. We were studying about that, and we were studying about olden Europe. But that's what I wonder. Like when people say, "Oh, these empires fell, so America is going to be the next empire to fall." So who's going to take over? China? Because that's what it seems like people keep talking
That's what it
about.
looks
Like,
like. Yeah.
yeah, like China is going to take over, and then China is just going to be a complete communist, like trying to say like this is what you can and cannot do, and then like a lot of these things, it's strange because even when talking about China, right? Like, for instance, there's two things. So here in New York, because I have to make this a reference, the MTA just got in trouble for them using some type of technology on a subway train. And with that, they found out it was from a Chinese company that was actually spying. They had some type of spy fraud or something like that that happened, and they got in trouble for that, and they had to remove their cameras off the train. That happened. Then when it's talking about studying these empires, how many times you see all these Chinese investments going into these random places? Like they're going. I mean, a lot of people talk about Africa, like, but let's be real. It's a lot of melanated countries that's being affected or going to get some type of loan from China. Cuba is one of them. They're leasing all these infrastructure projects in Cuba, and then also the infrastructure projects in Jamaica. Now with Jamaica, they are able to capitalize off of the sale of Jamaica black castor oil. And the Chinese make a watered down version of it and then sell it back to the public and say this is authentic Jamaica black castor oil. Full on lie. Then China is also going into an island called the Vanuatu Islands. Now, if you look at the people who's from the Vanuatu Islands, they look just like so-called black people. So-called black Americans, Caribbeans, loosely Africans. They look just like melanated people. And they are brown skinned. They just had the ambassador of the Vanuatu Islands meet up with one of the Chinese prime ministers over there, and more than likely they're gonna buy that land. So that's why I find it interesting to talk of empires. Like the American empire is gonna be dead. So is everybody gonna try to go for the Chinese dream? It's not the American dream no more. It's the Chinese dream. Like, what is it gonna be?
Yeah, it's true. I think the East owns a lot of the West already. It's kind of under wraps, but in Africa we know China's heavily involved.
Yeah. And
Places like Japan, they own
wait,
a lot of America through
Japan owns a lot of
loans and things.
America?
I think so, yeah, like China, Japan, I think they have a huge hold over. They're like basically they're keeping the West afloat because a
Yeah.
lot of the things they own it, but they you just don't see their presence in the West. So it's yeah, it will be interesting to see if they would ever implement certain laws and things to bring, well, the whole thing about the spying, they want to make the world like China already. The whole surveillance state, that is something they're gradually creeping us towards, where we're watched, we're monitored, our conversation is controlled. So China was the blueprint for the world. Maybe not the political stance, but the way the people are controlled and monitored and managed. That's definitely, I think, something a lot of nations want to adopt.
Feel like obviously America's the scapegoat, but like they try to get the other people on the program, and because it's kind of like it's like selling a business. This is like the next big thing, and then it's just like it's just honestly weird, like the communist type of like rhetoric that they want to pull on people and say, oh, this is what you can and can't do, but you can do it, but we're not forcing you, but you should do it because we want you to do it. Like it's all like verbiage and trying to set talking codes and all these different things. Like, they trying it. You know what I mean? And
The
it's just,
illusion of freedom and choice, yeah.
and America gets you with that every time. They always say, oh yeah, land of the free, home of the brave. No, it's not land of the free, home of the brave. It's land of the stolen. Land of the stolen and compromised. That's what it is. God damn it.
Because
Like,
I think we had something similar. Sorry to cut you. We
yeah.
had something similar with the face recognition. And it's like, oh, you're spying on us. Where basically at the supermarket, there's a particular supermarket called Co-op. Allegedly, they have a face recognition like set up. Most people do not even know it's in effect. Although they say there's signs, you're rushing into the store, you're not reading a sign that says you're being monitored. And they said it was just for the sake of shoplifters. But they were literally scanning everybody's face, watching them, monitoring them. I can't even remember. And like eventually people found out and they were like, how come you never told us? Like you're using facial recognition, like people of interest, where the people are going about their daily business and their whole movements are being tracked. through their face.
Right.
So they're trying to implement these control measures even here, testing them out to see how noticeable they are and things like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and
when you mentioned that thing, yeah, we had something similar a few weeks back.
yeah, because it like the facial recognition thing. Again, it goes to my point. It's like it's like they speak in codes, and what really irks me about it is just like this is like the beta testing, and just how I thought about even if we're talking about chips, you know, it's not really even a conspiracy theory, but just the idea they talk about putting inserting a chip inside of your arm and all this other stuff is going to be a grain of rice, right? And I thought about this before, like it comes to the human aspect. Of course, they did whatever they did in Wisconsin with that company, but I was actually thinking about how a lot of people are just using their pets as test dummies for the chip alone. Like here in I don't know if they do it in the UK, but here in New York, I've seen so many times. Especially, I ain't gonna lie, white people love doing this because white people love their pets so much. I gotta be honest. Please don't judge it as racist. It's just something I see. So I usually see that the fact of the matter is like they have no problem installing a chip into their pets in order to track them, in order to say if they get lost, I can be able to toggle some type of signal where I can find where they are and automatically look on that system and say, here they are over here, boom, boom, boom. And to you, you might think
Oh
it's
yeah, we have
harmless.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, to certain people, they might think, oh, it's just harmless. Like, yeah, definitely insert the chip into the dog, more specifically the dog, um, so that I could be able to find it in case they run off. And to me, I'm like, you don't get it. You don't get it. That's a test animal. You're letting it test your animal. Okay, that's just the beta testing. Oh, see how it goes. It's harmless because it's just a dog. They don't think like a human. You're not looking at the bigger picture. And that's what really people don't understand. People are just thinking like it's just whatever, blah blah blah. No, they're testing animals, man. And then after that, it's just going to be the companies, and then it's going to be regular ways of life, and where they try to tell you, oh, this is what you can and cannot do. Just like places right now, when I made videos on this about even when I talked about COVID and about how they're trying to tell people you must have the vaccine to go here, here, and here. It's bullshit. Why I
Mm.
need a vaccine to go to simple places like the damn supermarket or go to a baseball game and I dare them to tell me I can't ride the subway whenever I please unless I have proof that I took the damn vaccine. It'll be hell to pay that day. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, it's the slow walk of humanity and society into being controlled. It starts off where it's voluntary. Either you do it or you don't. And if you don't do it, there's kind of like certain things you'll be excluded from, but then it's like mandatory. And
Right.
so once enough people start to accept it voluntarily, they will be the ones putting pressure on you to conform to the new system. So it
Mm-hmm.
needs to be voluntary first. And it's basically Revelations 13, where it
Mm.
says, everybody has to receive a mark. Without the mark, you can't buy or sell. Now, I'm not saying COVID is the end or the vaccine is the mark. But what I'm saying is we're gradually becoming conditioned to this idea of just government taking more of our control away.
I agree. Because I mean, even thinking about it, I can't even say. I just agree. It makes total sense, and a lot of people
The
like because
chipping, yeah.
we've never seen something so dramatic. And when they say the new normal, you know what I'm saying, and when they say, oh, this is how it's gonna be, it's never gonna be the same. You go to places
No.
and it's like so many people become cautious. They're like, oh, I don't want to be around you because you look like this and da 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 da. And it's just like I'm still a human being. I'm still a person.
Mm-mm.
I'm still a soul. I'm still a star seed. I'm still a damn indigo child. You know,
Mm-mm.
like it's just crazy how our world is becoming. And it's just like, a lot of stuff I wanted to go over tonight. Oh, I actually wanted to ask you this. I think we touched on this briefly, right? So I wanted to get an aspect on besides the indigo children, the thing about chakras, the thing about spirituality, because I was thinking about this when I had made this when I wanted to come on tonight. I was like, I wanted to talk about the idea of chakras, the ideas of tarots, the ideas of zodiac. It inspired me today because I was reading Shahrazad Ali book on a bus. You know, the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman, and they touched upon that. You know, the black woman uses God as her real man instead of looking at the black man to be her man, and you know, using everything outside of getting closer to the Most High, Jesus, God, whatever you want to call it. That, you know, a lot of women I even see of today, it's always about zodiac. It's about them studying these spirituality practices, the witchcraft, and all these different things. And I'm not sure the video that I'm gonna show tonight, a little bit, if anybody else comes on, ecosexuals, and about I see a lot of this kind of like witchcraft that goes into appreciating nature, perverting nature, right? But I wanted to get to the idea of like tarots, the idea of these rocks, you know, these crystals, summoning spells, and all these different things. Now it's odd to me because it's like I have a guilty conscience as I'm still trying to study my way to get closer to the Most High. I'm still trying to understand zodiacs for what they are, like why people are so drawn to these zodiacs and drawn to these constellations, the Orions, and you know, all these hybrids and Pluto or whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to study it, and what I find is there's a correlation between these zodiac signs and crystals, and how do I call it? Like something like Wicca, WICCA. And I've seen it. The reason why I seen it, I was in Urban Outfitters once, and I seen like they have a witchcraft guide, and which is with this witchcraft guide, they actually have crystals in there. And then when you see what a lot of these quote unquote witches is that they use the zodiac signs to have a conversation and predict your world. So it stood out to me because I actually liked it for a second. I was like, yeah, this is my zodiac sign. This is who I get along with. This is who I don't get along with. But as more time goes on, I'm kind of just wary. Like, I don't want to be around this, especially if it's not something that's geared from the Most High. I don't want to be around it, as I'm still learning about it. You know what I mean? So what's your thoughts on that about the zodiacs? Like, you know.
Yeah, I don't know much about the zodiacs. Things like tarot cards and things like that. I haven't really studied it in depth, you know. But a lot of people, they're always trying to find ways to go around God. They want to know the future. They want power. They want, you know, doors to be open for them, opportunities, but they don't want to go the way that God has said. You know, the scripture says that, you know, narrow is the path and that leads to eternal life, and there's few that find it. There's a way that God wants people to approach him, and there's a way that he wants people to acquire eternal life and live. And so it's like people are trying to circumnavigate around God through obtaining powers from Satan, but ultimately it's not going to work out for them. So yeah, we're living in the end times where they did say witchcraft is going to become normal, that people will depart from the faith and they will give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. So a lot of people think idols and things like that, they have power. It's not. It's as you pray to that idol or that statue, spiritual beings like what we would call demons or whatever live in those objects. And that's what the end time religion is going to be. The new age, um, basically atheism, secular humanism, things like this. So they're ushering us into that. They're attacking organized religion more, and they're offering an alternative in the form of the new age. And Wicca has spiked a lot since the Harry Potter books came out like 20 years ago in the movies. more and more people are identifying as modern day witches, Wiccans. Salem, Salem has come alive with witchcraft,
Right.
and even a lot of Black women have left the Christian church to go to African spirituality and witchcraft.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this
Wacky,
is
what's
what they
going on?
want.
Oh, my fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wacky, what's going on, man? Quick word before you begin. Welcome, as usual. Um, I was just gonna say it's very ironic about the Wicca conversation because one of my favorite artists in high school, I was wary about, like, I love his I liked his music because he was very creative, but as like once I started understanding, he delved into that Wicca crap, I was just like, I don't know what to think about it. And actually, it's funny you say that, antisocial, just for this last word. Actually, one of the guys that used to be on this panel, used to be coming around within the Brownstone Powwow, apparently doesn't like me because what I said, what me and Blue Lion was talking about on that stream far alone away, he's mad at me now because we broke down the New Age philosophy and we said it's still in the brink of Satanism, and now he's mad at me because we called that out. But I found it funny. Wacky, what's going on, my mans? Peace, Chief.
Hey, what's going on? Peace. What's going on, y'all? Yeah. I mean, I was, because I hear you guys was speaking about the zodiacs and how the zodiacs and uh how people are gravitating towards that. I mean, you guys gave a deeper approach than what I'm about to give concerning why people gravitate towards the zodiacs. To me, I just think it's just a way for people to justify how crazy they are. To say, well, it's just not the decisions that I make that's the reason why I'm this way. It's just because I was born on this day. This is why I'm so damn crazy, and what have you. Because when you listen to people's conversations, right? Usually, and when people speak about themselves and when they speak about their bad behavior, they then justify it by talking about their zodiac sign. Well, I'm a Gemini, that's why I'm this way. I'm a Leo, that's why I'm this way. I'm a Capricorn, that's why I'm this way. so I just think it. I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm just saying this is just my perspective. I just think that a lot of people use it to try to rationalize their bad behavior instead of taking responsibility for their bad behavior and admitting that, okay, I'm doing this wrong and I got to change it.
No,
Agreed.
I agree. I agree.
I agree. Because even with women I've dated in the past or whatever, or like women I encounter sometimes, like their whole thing is, yeah, I'm a Capricorn, I'm crazy. And they be like, I got Virgo in my chart, and I'd be like, okay, when I look at zodiacs based upon whatever zodiac sign I am, I'm looking at zodiac signs to be a guide. Now I can't lie, like there aren't certain personality traits from the zodiac, whatever zodiac sign I am, like it does resonate with who I am, well, what my personality traits are, because certain things it just align. I'd be like, yeah, this is definitely a characteristic I have, this makes sense, right? But I never looked at it as zodiac is a religion. I looked at it like, okay, this is cool, I can get along with this, that, and the third person because these are the traits I have. But it's a tough call because sometimes I just want to look at zodiac signs for the hell of it. But I just know at the end of the day, like I'm not looking at it like, say for instance, if it's a sign that I don't like, my sign wouldn't get along with it. I wouldn't be like, well, I would never want to date you. I'd never want to do anything with you because your zodiac sign is crazy. We don't get along. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got this, that, and the third in your chart. I'm not gonna be that type of person. What type of bird? But I'm not gonna be that type of. I'm not gonna be that type of. I'm not gonna be that one to do that. Like, I'm gonna be like, hey, I like you for you, or I want to hang out with you because you're cool and we just vibe. We're two souls that get along with each other. Now, your zodiac sign is your zodiac sign, mine is mine. But I'm not looking at it like, oh, well, I never want to be friends with you or be in an LTR with you based off that. It's just ridiculous. Completely ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, Bronzebird and Antisocial. This is the funny part about certain people. I'm not speaking about y'all in particular, but with certain people that I've came across who believe in the zodiac, right? Some of these people, they are hardcore believers of the zodiac, but yet they claim, they profess that they don't believe in the Bible because they believe that it was written by some white guy, which is that's not true, but they believe that. So I tell them, I'm like, but which groups of people create the zodiac signs that you believe in? Wasn't the Greeks?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't they Caucasian?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's a contradiction. You claim that the Bible was written by Caucasians, therefore you don't believe it, but then you believe another thing, well, I call it thing, another thing that has been created by Caucasians. To me, I'm just like that as a contradiction. Listen, if you don't believe in the Bible, there should be a deeper, a much more, a much more intelligent reason why you don't believe. I'm not trying to dictate what people should and should not believe. That's up to you when it comes to what type of spiritual belief or quote unquote religious belief that you have. That's totally up to you. But if you don't believe in something, it should be a more intelligent reason why.
Yeah,
but it's just a contradiction. It's funny,
and the contradiction goes to a next level, because if you're saying I'm going to these people who deal with the spiritual realm and they have powers, why would you believe in a realm of demons but you can't believe in the realm of the holy? Because they have issues with Christians, they have issues with believers. They know, even as much as those people are working with demons, those demons do see what goes on in the spiritual realm to some degree. And they have issues with Christians. And so the question becomes, how can you believe in a spiritual realm, but you can't believe in God? Like, who are you trying to counter? Or why do you have issues with this group of people if those people believe in a God that you claim doesn't exist? So there's always contradictions when it comes to the occult world, because these people, even, I know some people may not like this, but even in the Freemasonic world, they have issues with Jesus. And it's like, well, how are you worshiping the great architect who's supposedly so great, but you have an issue with Jesus? So there's a lot of things that it just doesn't make sense to believe only in the negative aspects of the spiritual realm. It's like, so do you realize that the God that you're trying to run from is also in this spiritual realm? So how can you say you don't believe in the God of the Bible, but yet you go to another system, as you said, and you still want spiritual advice? It's coming from the same realm.
yeah. I mean, I'm just It's just like I said, people have the right to believe whatever they want to believe. And likewise, people have the rights to not believe whatever they choose not to believe. Listen, that's the prerogative of each and every individual. But I'm just saying the contradiction of someone being so sincere believer of the zodiacs that was created by Caucasians, but then turn around and say they don't believe in something else strictly for the fact that it was created by Caucasians. To me, that just doesn't make any sense to me, But going on to, I know earlier in your conversation, I'm sorry to segue it or reverse segue it, or however you want to call it, but
yeah, bro, you got it.
Yeah, y'all was speaking about animals being implanted, people allowing their pets to be implanted with chips, thus being like a precursor to humans being implanted with a chip. Well, I just want to let y'all know that on YouTube, even here on YouTube, IBM came out with a commercial a few years ago where it showed a man being implanted with a chip. And in the commercial, I think he was going shopping. He was shopping and he was buying a couple of stuff. And then when it came time for him to check out his items, he went through a body scanner. And the body scanner scanned his body. And it's basically like he checked out. And this was, I think, from maybe 2014, 2015. I think the video's still up on YouTube. Someone could just put IBM, RFID chip, and what have you. So basically what I'm trying to say is that when you have corporations like, big Fortune 500 corporations like IBM advertising commercials for a chip. This is no longer conspiracy theory. It's an actual fact.
No.
But then again, it's now normal for pets to be implanted with a chip. So it's not that far off for humans to one day be implanted with a chip. Okay.
No, it's not. I mean, people have already started talking about doing their children, God forbid, should they get lost or anything happen to them. There's already discussions about that. And then I have seen certain places, I don't know if it was IBM, but I've seen chipping parties where they get the chip in their hand and they no longer need like a physical ID card. They can just go through. Yeah. There's a store that Amazon has created, and when you enter, I don't know how it does it, but you literally just grab a basket, you put everything in the basket, and then you just leave, and it automatically deducts the value of the items from your account. I don't know how it knows what you pick up, but you literally, there's no till. You just enter, put stuff in your basket, and when you're finished, you bag it up and you leave. And it automatically deducts. And my personal stance is, I did a video on this when coronavirus first hit called, this is really about a battle for souls. That's what I personally feel this is. The goal is to make the world cashless, because a cashless society can be tracked. All you have to do is press a button, and whatever currency you're using, credits or whatever you want to call it, you can just wipe that person out. That's not possible as long as you have cash and trading. And so for me personally, put on my tinfoil hat, I do believe there's a massive push towards a cashless world so that everybody is using some type of digital currency so that they can be monitored. Because another thing I was thinking is this: during the time of the pandemic, they gathered a lot of information, because one of the first things that happened was, as soon as the pandemic started to take hold, people were told, it's safer to use your card. Don't come close, don't use cash. We don't know if, the virus can transfer on the money. So use your card, contact list. They gathered a lot of data about how we operated just by watching our transactions. If you're going to set a trap, you need to understand the movements of the creature you're trying to trap. And so everything that we do is monitored through our digital footprint. And
are you watching this video that I'm playing?
Yeah.
You see it, right?
Yeah, I'm looking, yeah.
Yeah.
Run it back one more time. Run it back.
Okay.
Fair use too.
Fair use. Can y'all hear the sound?
No. You can't hear
Okay, well. Ain't nothing I could do about that. Sorry about that.
That's cool.
Yeah. Fair use.
Interesting.
Yeah, the security guard told him, "Excuse me, sir, you forgot your receipt." And then, he said, "Thank you, sir." And then there's a narrator in the background that says, "The future of business." And then you see the IBM image.
Hey, Wacky.
The IBM logo.
Hey, Wacky, what's real up? Quick. Now, if that was a black man, he would have had my ass on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you always gotta hit him with that. But yeah, like it's so many. It's something that I had saw. I think this year or last year, because I was gonna do a video on it when I just started my YouTube page, and it was a video about how they have electronic supermarket shopping carts. I forgot which company it was, but it's more like to the fact of the matter that well, I forgot which company it was. Was it It wasn't Uber Eats. It was another company. And what it is that basically you make an order online just like everything else. And with that being said, then I guess the shopping cart itself moves by itself. It's some electronic shopping cart, and it delivers the food or whatever items to your house. And this was in California. Now my only thing is now if they have Uber Eats, DoorDash, I think it was DoorDash, Uber Eats, DoorDash, or all these other companies out there that's delivering food, I can only imagine it's going to decrease the employment opportunities for those people who's depending on those to make an income. I
saw that,
Yes. I actually made a video on that where I showed a couple of videos about that. Yeah, and they even showed you talking about driverless vehicles.
Yeah, it was driverless vehicle, but it looked just like a shopping cart, like electronic shopping cart, just going up the street to somebody's door.
Yeah,
and then ringing on it, dude. Yeah.
They even have these driverless shopping carts, right? Mm-hmm. Where they have groceries in the driverless. Well, I'll say the driverless vehicle. They have groceries in the driverless vehicle, and you could even buy. And the vehicle comes to you, it opens the door up, and you pick whichever product that you want, and you check it out. So it's basically like the supermarket comes to you. So it's not only food delivery that's being driverless, it's grocery shopping that's being driverless and that's going to people's doors. That's crazy. Yeah, and like you said, that's going to decrease the need for companies to hire actual human drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because especially in New York, a lot of immigrants depend on doing DoorDash, Uber Eats, and all these different things. Because I usually do see them, especially when the pandemics just started. No lie, the nations that I would usually see do it is usually Africans or like Latinos, and usually Latinos I probably mean Mexicans. Mexicans or Southern Americans would usually be the ones that's on bikes and up there delivering food. I mean, they still do it now, of course. But what this is not to be racist, but one thing I don't understand about Africans, low-key, in New York, how the hell can they manage being in 90 degree weather with a big-ass jacket on, riding a bike? I've never understood that. Like,
really?
Nah, for real, it really perplexes me. Like, I really be sitting there like, I mean, yo, bro, I'm all about get your dough, get your money. But how the hell can you survive 90 degree weather outside with a big ass coat and jeans and sneakers on a bike? You pedaling, and it's still an electric bike. And you sit up there delivering food and got your hands inside that hot ass little glove driving that bike. It's crazy to me. Like, I just be like, yo, God bless y'all, cause I'd be sweating up a storm if I was doing that. I can't survive.
Definitely.
Maybe it's the wind. It may be 90 degrees outside. Maybe it's the wind, because when you ride a bicycle, you're gonna feel a breeze. And maybe they riding it so much that the breeze end up making them so cold. I mean, I'm just saying maybe.
Wacky.
I don't know. I'm just saying maybe.
You know damn well a New York summer's heat. Even if it's a wind, it's that hot ass air. It don't matter if it's a breeze. It's still hot. Like, it's nothing you can do. It's still hot. So it just be boggling my mind. Like, these dudes don't be breaking a sweat. Like, they be sitting they'll be sitting at the street light with a black coat on, and I'll be sitting up there like, yo, this is amazing, man. They ain't sweating. There's no beads. There's no sweat beads. They just standing there. They just on their phone. They be like, yeah, I got to do my next delivery. And I'd be like, yo, y'all are amazing.
Kudos to you, yeah.
Kudos to y'all. Like, I don't know how y'all do it. Yeah, I'll be sitting up there like, that's crazy. But yeah, I definitely do think that it's just too much stuff. And then like when I did the video, I'm pretty sure y'all might have did a video or saw it as well. Even with the NYPD, they got the DigiDog out here now. You know what I'm saying? I haven't personally seen it. I haven't personally seen it yet. But yeah, they have the DigiDog out there now. And then it goes farther into like, well, if they're trying to defund the police, will the police actually give the people and citizens what they want now by having a DigiDog go ahead and still be operating in the crime scene? And then driverless cars. And then I'm thinking Tesla will probably get in on a deal as well, where Tesla will probably try to just be like, hey, look, listen, we'll go ahead and invest in your corporation for the driverless cars and still take over all the certain electronic opportunities that y'all want for the future of y'all department. It's just a wild ass world. Like, you see it.
I believe that Elon Musk is trying to fly a lot of Wi-Fi balloons across the planet so that the whole world can be connected to Wi-Fi. This is one of the reasons I think they're pushing for the 5G, because the bandwidth right now is just not, it's not wide enough. There's not enough space to accommodate all of these driverless and wireless technologies, where you have basically a smart world. Everything has got a chip in it, where, I mean, a lot of things have a chip in them now that can be hacked. We're not just talking about phones and baby monitors. We're talking about like toasters and fridges and things like that. The chip is just not turned on in the device to make it hackable. But they have got smart machines like washing machines, fridges that can tell you've run out of things, and they send messages to your phone and things like that. So they want smart living to be the norm.
Cookies.
And I'm not.
Go ahead. Antisocial. I was about to say, because you said that, some things, I think you gave a toaster that don't have some sort of chip in it for it to be hackable. But the thing is, any type of device that can be connected online can be hackable.
Exactly.
Strictly for the fact that, and I'm glad you brought up the part of hacking, because that's where I wanted to go with it. But go ahead. I know you wasn't done. I'm sorry for interrupting.
The last thing I wanted to say is you were talking about the chips and the smart world, and I was just going to say automation is really going to be I don't know if it's going to be the turning point for humanity, because a lot of the low skilled jobs that maybe more people who are black and brown are currently occupying, a lot of those jobs, they're trying to take them away and give them to machines. And so I think that's partly to do with the dissolution of the middle class, where you're really going to have just a handful of affluent elite, and like pretty much everybody else is poor.
Just like Target. So, it's just like I always gotta ask UK. This is because I'm trying to get to know y'all more. Do y'all have a store called Target in the UK?
No.
Okay, so y'all don't have Target, but because when I asked your fellow friend JX, I asked, he's like, we have IKEA, and I felt like, oh yeah, I forgot y'all got IKEA. I was like, but I was saying that because you're absolutely right. It's just like with Target and IKEA. The thing about it is now they have all these self-checkout lanes, right? And it's no use for a lot of those, because it's weird. Nobody really wants to go to the cash register anymore to pay for their items. Now it's just like, okay, let me go to the self-checkout. Even I'm aware that I do that, right? And the thing about it is you just have employees who's just directing them to the self-checkout lanes. And it's like, is that what y'all's future occupation is going to be? Like, people who's just going to get paid just to sit there at a line and direct people into these self-checkout lanes. Even if you want to go further. Now they have the tolls. Like, tolls used to be a thing. You used to be able to go to a person inside the tolls and pay for the toll and change. Now New York State didn't change it up. And now when it comes to Easy Pass, which was the first implementation of just going through a lane without paying, well, not paying directly, it just charges you. So now they got rid of the tolls on the bridges and the tunnels, and now it's just they send the bill to your mailing address. So yes, automation is definitely something they're picking up on, and I see it for sure, even in this state. Go ahead, Wacky.
Yeah, Bronzebird. It's even the same thing when it comes to speeding tickets. Now,
Yep.
a cop, especially in New York, a cop doesn't have to pull you over in order to give you a speeding ticket. You know, there's even machines at, you already know, Brownsburg, at a lot of intersections in the streets of New York that could scan the speed that you're going through
And license
and
plate.
took and
Yeah,
took a
that's
picture
true.
of your license plate and
Mm-hmm.
just take a
Mm-hmm.
snapshot and then find your name and address due to, you know, looking at your information based on your license plate and mail you a ticket in your
Yep.
house. Yeah,
Fact. Yeah,
yeah.
there's no human intervention.
Yeah,
And
so
the other thing as well is things like
hold on for a minute. Okay,
even if you're
Wait,
hold on for a minute.
wait, time.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, and I was going to part. Okay, I wanted to go into the. You know what? I let Antisocial finish because I'm want to
no, the
segue
only
into
thing I
another
was
thing.
gonna say, even when it
Okay.
comes on to
Good.
the you use traffic apps, the traffic app is based on your mobile phone.
Mm,
The
right.
reason why they know where there's a lot of traffic is because everybody's got a smartphone and they use the data from the phones to see where all the people are clustered. So this phone that we have here, it's dangerous. That's all I wanted to say.
And it's really a computer. You know that it's not
It's
even really a phone. The smartphone is really a computer. When you look at the smartphone components, it's the same as the computer components: hard drive, chip, RAM. You know, but yeah. No, I'm being for real. It's the
No, it
smartphone is
is.
actually a computer. It's
Yeah.
actually a computer.
They have a motherboard in it, right?
Yeah, a motherboard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they have the
yeah,
motherboard and all that other stuff and the components.
yeah,
Yeah, the RAM and
yeah.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
It's
It,
literally a computer.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
yeah. I've been taught that. I was like, it's a handheld computer. You just you know what
yeah,
I'm saying. It's the same thing you would do if you have a laptop or a desktop.
yeah.
And the thing about it is like what you start to notice is, and this is why I think it's very funny, because of course you have Google Voice. I'd never like to turn that option on. I never no. I don't need. I don't like speaking to a phone and try to tell me to text this person this or find a confirmation that. I don't even like putting location on. Even though they know, I know for sure they could track, and then it's the IP address and all these different things. But my thing about it is also that concept of cookies. Like, say for instance, I'm just searching stuff up online, and let's just say I want to look for a new pair of shoes. Like let's say for instance, I want to get some Vans old school. Now I'll be searching up. I'll be like, hey, I want Vans in black and white or something this, that, and the third. All of a sudden, I come up on YouTube or I come up on a popular site. Now you got all these options of Vans all over the place, and it's cookies. That's what it
Exactly.
is, cookies,
Yeah.
and yeah. And it's just really wild to me because it's like, goddamn, I didn't. I was just searching it that one time, and you're repeating the search for me. God damn.
Yeah. And websites that takes record of your cookies, they sell them. They sell these cookies to these advertisement agencies, and these advertisement agencies, they look at your cookies and they're responsible for giving out to other sites and say that, okay, this person's computer have been logging on and looking at these products and that product and that product. So this third party agency will go to these other websites and sell and sell the fact that you're interested in these items and sell it to them. And in
Hmm.
exchange, that other company will be advertising on your computer where you're on YouTube or Facebook or even Amazon maybe and what have you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
yeah. And what I was going to say as far as the hacking is concerned, I don't know if you guys read the news a few days ago. One of the biggest meat production companies, or one of the biggest meat producers in the United States and Australia, got their systems hacked
Mm-mm.
by um some sort of, I don't know, some sort of criminal organization. Supposedly they got their systems hacked, and a few months ago one of the biggest oil companies in the United States, they got their systems hacked, in
Hmm.
which what happened was what the hackers did to both of these companies is that they did something what is called ransomware, in which they hacked into sensitive information to these companies' networks and encrypted the information. In other words, they locked it in. It's sort of like, let's say, if I, hypothetically speaking, if I hacked into Bronzebird's computers, right? And Bronzebird, his computer have a whole lot of pictures of his family, himself. So what I did, I locked it. I put all them pictures in a file and I locked it, and I put a password on it. Only I know. And that's what these guys did to JBS, which is one of the largest meat distributors in the United States and Australia, and they did that to an oil company. I forgot the name of that oil company in the United States. And when it comes to that oil company negotiated with these criminals that was living overseas and said that they'll give them a few $1,000s worth of Bitcoin to them in exchange to giving the password of their own information that these criminals hide or encrypted. Yeah.
Well, sounds like holding your own data hostage or something.
That's exactly what it is. Holding your own data hostage, ransomware. That's what they nickname it. So what I'm saying is that, so I'm saying this to say this. As society becomes, as AI becomes more and more part of society, hacking will become more and more common. But this time around, right, since, in the future, we all agree that a lot of corporations in the future are going to be highly dependent on automation and AI, and in which they're going to be highly dependent on machines doing the labor instead of people. And a lot of these machines are, of course, going to be connected online. So just imagine if you have a whole factory that's based on AI, right? That's based on machines. Someone hacked inside the machine and boom, production is finished because a hacker hacked inside that machine and did his hacking magic to stop operations of that whole company. And this is where we living in. As technology becomes more and more advanced, hacking is going to become more and more advanced, and the dark side to the fourth industrial revolution, especially when it comes to automation, is that it's going to be a whole lot of hacking that's going to disrupt a lot of business. Because you're seeing it right now, where hackers from other countries, where it's outside of American jurisdiction. In other words, America can't go to those other countries and grab them criminals. They can hack into U.S. systems, UK systems, or any systems in any other country and stop or put a halt in that company's business. So that could fuck up the economy. So that I'm just showing one of the dark sides to automation, aside from the unemployment of low-skilled workers. But I've been talking for too long. I'm done.
Nah, you hit the nail on the head, man. And yeah, that's why I think it's very important we just pay attention to what's going on, and especially that point you brought up about the fourth industrial period. To be at odds, I actually want to ask this question: like, do you think that the whole idea about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is something that would be beneficial for our future society, or do you think it would be something that's a fad and would probably discontinue?
I don't know. Like I said, I feel like they want to move people from physical currency to digital currencies.
Right.
And I was very skeptical of Bitcoin. And just the whole idea of cryptocurrency, I didn't really like it because I felt like a long time ago that's what it was about. Now, crypto in and of itself is not necessarily bad, but you're getting people accustomed to the idea of not having physical cash.
Well, they was
So
trying to move that for a long time.
yeah,
I was
that's
trying
been
to
on
study
the
up. Yeah, I was trying to
oh,
study up
long
on that
time.
a bit. Something like they was trying to get rid of, like, first it was like getting rid of the gold standard, and getting rid of like that for like a long time, and then it's like the banking system back and forth between the U.S., the U.K., and then I think a place like Sweden is involved. Um,
Mm.
it's just like a back and forth with it, and it's just like a lot of stuff because it's just like a lot of people don't realize like U.S. is not really a country; it's a corporation, right? I
Mm.
said this. I said this on another panel, and this veteran got mad at me for saying that, and I'm just like, but it's true though. Like the United States is not a country; it's a corporation, right? And the thing about it is like it's still being owned by another country.
Sure.
And a lot of people don't really like to don't even know that, especially when you even think about Washington D.C. Washington D.C. is not even like Washington D.C. is low key his own entity, low key, right? Because it's not considered. It's not. You can't say Washington D.C. Maryland. You can't say Washington D.C. Virginia. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
can't
it's
say
like
that.
London.
You
London
know,
is a city in a city. So yeah,
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
for
that's how
example,
the District of
yeah,
Columbia works.
Central
Yeah,
London has its own police force. The rest of us have the Met, but the inner part of the city of London is a city in and of itself.
you
right.
know, you know what? That's how DC operates. Where I'm sorry to interrupt, Brownsburg.
No, go
Where
ahead. Go ahead.
in the District of Columbia, they have its own police force, but then outside the district, there's the Metropolitan Police. It's the same thing. Yeah, but
And
yeah, it's yeah, that's funny. But as far as to answer Brownsbird's question, I think that cryptocurrency in general is here to stay, and because cryptocurrency, if it ends up having government control, then it'll benefit the government, but it's definitely benefiting people who use it. So there's a benefit, a long-term benefit to cryptocurrency, which is why I feel that it's here to stay. Because when it comes to cryptocurrency, there's no reason to utilize a money changer. It's, let's say, for example, if you're going to another country and you need to utilize that country's currency. I mean, of course, you could utilize your debit card, but then with cryptocurrency, you could transfer that cryptocurrency to your debit card and utilize in other countries, or you could cash it out. Yeah, you could actually withdraw cash from cryptocurrency. So therefore, there's no need for, if people are traveling to other countries, to go to the money changers. They could just go to the nearest, crypto. Well, in New York, they have Bitcoin ATMs.
Yes.
So, I believe in the future there'll be more ATM machines for different types of cryptocurrency. And if that happens, money changes in different countries will definitely be out of business, because all you just need to do is fly to another country, go to your nearest crypto, Dogecoin, Bitcoin ATM, withdraw cash, and utilize that country's cash.
Well, Wacky, yeah, that's a good point. I was thinking this for a while, especially with crypto. Um, the idea of a unit, like a one world monetary system, a uni monetary system, right? I was thinking that for the whole idea about crypto, because of course, if you go to different countries, or let's just say Antisocial comes to New York, the money exchange has to come up because the value of a dollar here wouldn't be the same value of a dollar in the UK.
Right.
And then in Canada, I forgot what the percentage is with the dollar between the Canadian dollar and the US dollar. But I don't even know if it's that much. I don't think it's that much. But I guess with cryptocurrency, it's leveling the playing field. Like, okay, well, you're from the United States and you have the dollar, but say over here we have pounds or we have the yen and all these different things. I would assume that crypto is just kind of making it just universally transactionable so that people won't have a hard time doing money exchanges, and therefore what you said earlier, probably getting rid of that, getting rid of those places that's doing the money business. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. Correct. Oh, they popping firecrackers in your area, huh?
I'm glad you noticed that, because they are going off today. God
Same
damn.
thing over here. Same thing over here.
I tried.
over here.
I was wondering. I
Sorry.
was wondering who heard it, because I was trying to put my joint on mute, but I was like, I know y'all hear it. Like,
I hear it.
I
I
wasn't
hear
sure
it.
what it was, so I was just like, okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, like firecrackers and dirt bikes, the New York tradition,
Oh,
back to
Man,
back to back until at least like August.
man,
oh,
once
okay.
August, you mean until October?
What? What? Not
Yeah,
but the
for a long
firecrackers
ride.
though?
Yeah, yeah, with the firecrackers, yeah.
Nah, not
In,
until October, bro.
in my way, they don't stop popping firecrackers until October.
Oh yeah, no,
Once,
they probably stopped. Around mine's the latest I've ever heard them do it is September,
oh,
but
okay, but
October nah.
the New York way. Once it's hot outside, the firecrackers are coming out, and the
You
dirt
know it.
bikes.
You know
Yeah,
it.
and Bronzebird, was
Okay.
it me or was last year it was worse with the firecrackers?
Yo,
Damn,
Wacky. Oh my god.
last year. Oh my
Yo,
gosh,
Wacky.
yo,
You know what they did? Like on my boulevard down the street. I swear to you, man. You seen rows and rows of the Roman candles and all those firecrackers, like rows of it, man. Like all of it just burnt and all that other stuff sitting on the street corner. And I was just like,
wow.
yo, they was bugging out last year. And Vice did a clip on that joint too, because people was aggravated. People was just like, yo, why y'all always popping firecrackers? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was wild last year.
Yeah, it was wild. I mean, even to some of my videos when I came back to YouTube last summer, the summer of 2020, some of my video clips, you're gonna hear firecrackers in the background.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you can't
Just
do
like
nothing.
just like your background. That's what I could relate. I already know.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm
it
glad
was.
you had that ear on it because I was just like, yo, I wonder who notices, yo, because they ain't gonna stop.
Yeah, but you mean to tell me on your boulevard they just had plenty of Roman candles just laying around?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They had Roman candles like at least stretched out for like 2 to 3 blocks. Like you just see them like perfectly lined up, and then it's just like the buses and cars is passing by and stuff like that, and you just see them on a boulevard just like laid out Roman candles and all that. Yeah,
God damn.
yeah. They
Dang.
don't care. Like that happens. What else they did? And then of course, the dirt bikes. And this is an interesting thing. They got some guy that built some type of car that sounds just like a dirt bike. Like it's a those remote control cars, but like when you hear it, it sounds just like a dirt bike. So like when I tell you it's niggatry at work, it's niggatry
Yeah.
at work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was
Oh
just
man.
in Queens today too. I was like, I know it's gonna be some wild shit, but nah, yo.
I mean, damn. Where in Queens were you at?
Oh, where I had
If
to,
you
I
don't
had
mind me asking. If you don't
no, no,
mind me
no
asking.
problem, no problem. I had to go near the border, but I was over at Jamaica. I was
Oh,
in
okay.
I had stopped by Jamaica where the bus terminal was at, 165th.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, by the Coliseum. Okay.
Yeah, I had to stop over there to go back home on the E train. But I had stopped down and I was on the Ave, whatever, and then I was just looking at everything. I noticed that Chipotle that's there. I didn't see the Starbucks yet, but yeah, I was in
Yeah.
Queens.
Oh yeah, the Starbucks in Jamaica Avenue was there for a while. The
It was
Starbucks. Yeah. There's a
okay.
Starbucks, there's a what's that jewelry store called? That famous jewelry store.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the name also. Yeah.
Yeah.
But oh yeah. Yeah. Oh man, they just making so many new co-op buildings around that area.
You know why? Because I noticed it, right? Because I used to be Queens a lot, but I was just like, yo, you know what? I checked out how they have the new condos up from that park. If you look down and the LIRR is down there or whatever, but it's
Yeah.
up the street, and you got
Yeah.
that park right there, and then to the right of the park where the Ave is, they got like mad just condos just sitting there now.
Yeah, yeah. That's like you talking about the Sutphin Boulevard area, like around there.
Yeah,
right?
over there in
Yeah.
Sutphin, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
God.
They got them sit there. and the mayonnaise people was already there walking their dogs.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Bro, it was. But you know what I said? You know what I said to a friend? I know I don't know how it's like with the gentry process in London, but I was seeing like remember I was going to my friend's house out in Rochdale one day, and I just remember seeing this bubbly like white lady just sitting on the Q85. Like I was just like, yo, why? I didn't know it was that serious out here.
In Rochdale?
Yeah. Well,
Rochdale?
Near Rochdale. Okay,
Oh,
so
near
you know.
Rochdale.
Okay. What's the?
I know that area. Go ahead.
Okay, what Ave is it? Where the 4 and 5 is? The Q4 and 5 is at?
Oh, that the Q4 and 5. You talking about Merrick Boulevard?
Merrick Boulevard, yeah,
Okay.
Merrick Boulevard, and this lady got on a bus and was just like mad bubbly, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like I've never seen a white lady in Rochdale or in like Merrick Boulevard. I've never seen that. Like I thought Jamaica was just deep like black people. Like it's crazy to me.
Right. But you know, I was telling Sir but Yahoo on the earlier live stream is that, you know, even though you still see some of it in Queens, but most of that side of Queens to me is never going to be gentrified because you have too many black homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you understand how gentrification works, it really works in areas where there are a lot of renters.
Yes.
You know, yeah.
Yes.
So
that's a positive side about your area, right?
Yeah.
Because even if you, my bad to interrupt you, but because when I thought about it, the great thing about that side of Queens, they still have their own people, like of course that own their own property, and there's still that black business that go out there. Like they just open up a fish spot on whatchamacallit, Farmers Boulevard, I think. Not Farmers. I'm bugging. Where the 111 and 113 goes down.
Galbrew?
Yeah, I gotta get familiar. I be stale on Boulevard. I be knowing Queens, but
by,
I don't be knowing
Farmers,
Queens.
Though. That's
Yeah. Guy Brewer. They just built another fish. They built a fish spot out there, and you know I always support black businesses, so I'm like, because I seen it on the gram. So that went on, and then I was just like, well, Foch Boulevard ain't the only place they would nearly gentrify is Foch Boulevard because they got the projects around there. But Brooklyn, if you go to certain parts in Brooklyn, like past Flatbush, like it will probably be too gentrified out there. Like even though you start to see like a couple of gentrifiers on the L train in Canarsie, but yeah, like mainly renters area, they're escaping on that because nobody's like trying to own a home on their land. So
right.
It's a wrap. Hey, Blue Lion, what's good, man? Peace.
No. I don't know too much about you, Brownsbird.
Chilling. Another great Friday, man. Can't complain.
Me enjoying life. I mean, after dealing with some stuff, but got my important thing fixed. You know, been talking to my girls, exactly. Tiffany Arf, you know what I mean.
Tiff. All right.
Then food shop. Didn't finish on my food shopping yesterday, so I still got food shopping to do, and I'm going out tomorrow.
Nice. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts about because you got another person who follows around the Hebrew Israelite way, man. So what's your thought process on zodiacs or like I was telling Antisocial earlier, and I guess I told Wacky. There's a dude that's mad at us, mysteriously kind is mad at us.
Oh yeah, he is.
He mad at us because he cussed us out on his stream Thursday, and he was like, yeah, the New Age philosophy, blah blah blah, y'all making up stuff, blah blah blah, and he was mad at us about that. I was like, the New Age philosophy is still geared towards Satanism, and he got mad. So he still brought it up from a stream that happened a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what people say about the truth. That's what makes people pissed off the most.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They can't handle. They can't handle truth. They can't handle that truth, man. I speak truth bombs all the time.
You can't handle the truth. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So a Blue Line. Since you in this truth, since you a brother in the Israelite way, you already know what the scriptures say about the truth. You already know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people can't handle it. A lot of people can't handle it. Yeah,
they can't handle that truth, man. Because you bring those truth bombs, they get upset very easily, very very easily. There's Brownsbird. There he is.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, because that New Age philosophy that Brownsbird and Antisocial sold me, that's total witchcraft / Satanism. Yeah, it is. I can't like. When I studied it, it's like, hold on, people believe in this crap?
They do.
It's like,
They do enough to believe it.
Yeah.
They don't even do no studies into it, look deep into it. They just believe it. They just fall right into that trap. Like
It's like they follow behind and do without will type of like expression, which directly gets into it. My fault, Blue Line.
No, it's all good. I was wondering what happened.
No,
But,
I took myself off the stream. I was just gonna let y'all talk.
That happens sometimes. But I mean, I suppose Memorial Day, people like, oh, that's not bad. Actually, no. When you look into the origins, it's not. I mean, I understand people sacrificing, and all that stuff. But when you look into the origins, it's a lot deeper than people realize. Because I look into a lot of stuff people don't understand. So, and I get criticized. I get attacked for it, But it's like, well, doesn't really bother me. It bothers them, but not me. Yeah. And Mike, like, I see you doing that Freemason hand sign, man. I see you doing that. You think I didn't recognize that, did you?
Got him.
Of course, I can spot things from a mile away. Easily.
I just wanted to put this on y'all minds real quick. Maybe you notice, maybe you don't. For the last couple of years, I've been walking outside and I've been seeing these people actively just not even being afraid to admit that they're involved in the whole entire practice of Satanism. Seeing the people wear all black, wearing a Star of David chain around their neck. What else I seen? I actually seen a guy when I was in the Lower East Side. Mm-hmm. He was wearing a sweater that says "Hail Satan" or "Hello Satan" or something like that, and it just is just so damn mind-boggling. Mm-hmm. They just don't give a damn, man. Like all black, the black boots, the black attire, you just see it, and it's just wild to me. Like, what the hell is going on with these people, man? Mm-hmm. They said you shouldn't judge me for who I am or what is it that I believe in, which is true. I shouldn't. Whatever your journey is with whatever entity or whatever God you serve, that's you. But just knowing where I am, sitting on this brink of my journey when it comes to spirituality, me believing in the Most High, I just can't help but feel some type of opposition to that. You know what I'm saying? Like just seeing that Star of David wearing around your neck, and I'm just like, yo, that's not right?
You pick up the energy of them. Like immediately.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You pick up the energy of people, and it's just like it just don't sit right in you. You know what I'm saying?
Nope. That's what I call stuff out, exactly. Like Brian Livers, and he got mad at me because I said about the Devil Wars on it. I said, "Oh, wait, I like to hear parts in there defending like, oh, this beats rock. I'm not, dude. You're being a hypocrite. You guys sit there say you serve God and then serve the devil. You can't have it both ways."
Right.
Exactly. And
hold on, Wacky, before you start, if you see me click out, that I'm still listening. I just gotta check something real quick. So y'all continue talking.
All
right, go ahead, Wacky. I'm sorry.
All right, no problem. Early in the stream, Antisocial, you still here? You still there?
She ain't saying nothing, and I just got here. Yeah, because I'm using my gaming computer, not using my old computer.
And I'm still here.
Oh,
hello.
Okay.
I remember you. Been a while. I got to check your channel out. I got to check your channel out.
I remember, because early in the stream, Antisocial brought up how, unfortunately, there's a lot of sisters who resort to going to utilizing African spirituality.
Yep.
Or in other words, another form of witchcraft. And yeah, man, I've heard, actually there was articles that talked about that. And even prior to this article coming out, I've known females who personally told me that they would go and, they know someone who, practice voodoo or voodoo or some sort of, or some sort of witchcraft in order to try to find love.
I had
some
family members who practiced that on my mom's side. Exactly. Like, I'm like, I know about it. But no, thank you. I'd rather sense people and predict and all that stuff. That's what I'd rather
do. Yeah, they're trying to normalize it. It wasn't Spike Lee who did "She's Gotta Have It." The one woman with the three men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And at one point, they actually had a scene where she goes to a spiritualist, and the woman is bathing her and giving her all kind of things to rub, and they want to normalize these things. They want to make this the new age and the occult the new religion.
Yeah. They want to normalize it. Yeah, like you said, they want to normalize it. Call it quote unquote being open minded, or or they want to sit there and claim that they want to go against the quote unquote Eurocentric, patriarchal concept of life. So they trying to picture it as a form of being, a form of not being oppressed, a form of liberation.
Oh
it's
yeah.
all it's all being covered up as being a form of liberation. So it's not only normalized, but it's also glorified as someone being free from the quote unquote oppressive Eurocentric patriarchal ways of life,
Like
which is
people,
crazy. So cold.
Like people got mad at me because I exposed pagan holidays. They got mad at me for exposing birthdays. It's like you got mad at it because I exposed Harry Potter. I mean, yes, I used somebody else's content, but here's the thing: is I still spoke the truth on it because it was sorcery and stuff and Freemasonry. But people still they get mad. Like people agree, people disagree with me. It's like, well, you can disagree, but if you have something to say about it, you can say it to me privately. Don't say it in public and make a video or a stream about it. Because if I catch you, that's when I'm gonna have to go off on you. I mean, I can handle criticism, but don't expect me to go easy.
Exactly. Hey, brother, and it's usually our own people who go against us the most when we tell them some truth.
Yes.
I remember telling this brother, right? I told him that the Israelites that the Bible speaks of are so-called black people, and not only are they black people, we are their descendants, right?
Yep.
Man, this guy was arguing back and forth, talking about how no, the Israelites are Caucasian, and he wanted to fight afterwards. He wanted to fight. I said, yo, bro, if you put your hands on me, I will hit you the fuck back. I'm like, I told him, I was like, I'm trying to enlighten you. I'm trying to teach you something, and you want to fight? I'm like, just understand this. You put your hands on me, you're going to get it from me. And it's so sad that we have to be like that to our own people.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, indeed. I mean, for example, I told for people in my group, family members of friends, you can't sit there and say you love God, but you sit there celebrating paganist holidays. And you can't have it both ways. And they get mad at you at that. They got mad at me for that before. Literally. And they don't like hearing that. So they sit there trying to argue down. So this, oh, you're following religion. First of all, I don't follow religion. I'm a spiritual person. Learn the definition. Mm-hmm. Learn it and stop running your mouth because you don't like hearing that truth. Or they sit there calling you negative. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is how it is.
Yeah.
So,
They call you negative, bitter. There's something wrong with you. And it's like, but it's like, okay, but I'm providing evidence to back up what I'm saying.
Exactly.
They pick what they want to hear, and it's just unfortunately, with Wacky and Blue Lion, they think of you as the stereotypical Hebrew Israelites, the ones that be on the street corner, and they be like, "That's right, read."
Oh yes, I got criticized for exposing holidays, birthdays. I don't even celebrate. The only thing I celebrate is the holy day. That's Friday and Saturday. That's the only thing I celebrate. That's it.
I'm still trying to do my best with the Sabbath. I'm trying my best. I know. I was like, yo, damn it, I cooked today. I was like, no, you're supposed to eat whatever is dry, but you're not supposed to cook. You're not supposed to work. Yeah. You're not supposed to, and like I said, it's a great thing that I awakened to that on my journey, and I was just like, I noticed it, so I was like, cool, because I was just like, before it's just like, oh, well, what the hell is the Sabbath? Doesn't the so-called Jews celebrate that? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know how it is with them. So that's why I was just like, I'm glad that I'm learning it. I mean, I'm not the best at it, of course not, but it's great to know I'm on that mindset to want to get there. So
every day's a journey. Every day's a journey. I mean, we're not perfect, though. Most we could do is try our best, but every day's a journey. Every day's a learning lesson. Every day we could learn what we can do better and what we cannot do better. So there's always room for improvement every day, as long as we understand that and try our best to improve our lives every day.
Yep. Just to let you know, Brownsbird, I'm planning to get married in the future to my girlfriend, by the way.
Hey.
Hey.
Congrats.
All right. Tribe of Judah gonna settle down. All right.
I plan to in the future, yes, when I have my finances together. Yes, me and her are going to do that. We already talked about it.
Oh, that's cool, man. Like, hey, look,
cool.
Listen. Y'all have a manosphere wedding.
Oh
shit.
And my girlfriend says she listens to the season, but here's the thing: she's from New York, the Bronx. That's where she's from.
Wait.
okay.
Tiff is from the Bronx, son?
The Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
God damn. She from the Bronx. All right.
Yep.
I never got the chance to like formally talk with her on a panel, but I mean, I just like to hear like, you know, things is pretty chill. Because I mean, the only thing I heard was like, oh yeah, that's my ex-girl, like this, that, and the third, and you know, stuff like that. But I was just like, well, y'all got together, that's cool too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
That's cool. You know what I'm saying? I dig that. I like seeing a little panel. I would like to see y'all be a duo. You know what I'm saying? If I hop onto y'all streams, is you and Tiff there? You know what I'm saying? You do your Thursday singing or whatever.
Oh, she was there yesterday. She was there yesterday
was?
on my stream. She was there.
Okay. Y'all could be the dynamic duo. Wait. So you got what? So if you're a blue lion, what lion? She's gonna be the blue lioness?
Probably so.
Uh-oh.
I mean, she got a lot to learn when it comes to conspiracy. Because I know a lot about the conspiracy and all that. She has a lot to learn.
Yeah, you gotta train those who's willing to listen. Of course, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That's how you do. And I definitely do think it's a good thing, you know, as long as they want to learn, because there's a difference between people who say they want to learn and then they get annoyed by you. Going back to the topic of dimension, once you hit a certain peak or you hit a certain threshold, they bounce away from it because they don't want to go into that realm, you know.
Oh, yes.
But if they're willing to go into that realm, that's when it becomes a great process and getting to know each other more.
Oh,
so,
that's the other thing. Her kids respect me too.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, ain't that something? Her kids even respect me on top of that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How old are you, by the way, Blue Line?
I am 33.
33?
33.
Okay.
Me are the same age.
All right. Okay.
Oh, I'm like the youngest out of all of y'all.
I'm probably the oldest. I don't know how old Antisocial is if she don't mind sharing her age. She don't have to, you know.
I'm be 34 in
Go
July.
away, Wacky.
Oh.
But
Leave me. No, I never grew past 18 in the mind. I'll just say that.
Okay.
I don't do birthdays either, but not because they're pagan.
I don't celebrate birthdays. Period.
Yeah, I'm 30. I'm 36. So.
Oh damn! You're only 3 years
Wacky's
older.
a veteran in the game, man. Shout out to Wacky. You've been doing this a long time, man. One of the original.
Oh my gosh, Wacky's it's 3 years older than me.
Yeah. Oh, people shocked when I say I'm 36. They think I'm older.
Nah,
It's probably the knowledge. It's the knowledge. Yeah.
No, I thought you was in your 30s. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean the great thing is like my girlfriend's birthday, Tiffany Yards, like her birthday's in October, mine's in July. So.
Okay. So yours is coming up.
Yeah.
Toy boy. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Thank you for the shout outs. Thank you for the shout outs. Antisocial. I forgot to say thank you for the shout outs.
I think I subbed to your channel, Wacky. I think I did, but Antisocial I did not.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's Dragon. Like, seriously.
Hold on.
Hello. I'm the King of Lions friend. He's the one that invited me in this stream.
Oh, you Legacy of Dragons, right?
That's correct, sir. And who is the host here?
Peace. What's up?
Bronzebird. Pleasure for having me here.
No problem, bro. Thank you for coming. You're welcome at any time.
No problem. I was just listening. The Blue Lion. He sent me here just so we can talk. But I caught on your conversation about how we're not perfect and we're just trying to grow and progress. And it just caught my ears. You know what I mean? So I stuck around and just actually want to listen to what you guys had to say.
Well, I mean, I always talk about the journey, and I believe
Yeah.
that with the journey, it's never going to be easy. I always bring the references: a stump in the road, or you have a branch that hits the journey. Like say, for instance, you're on a trail. You have to
Yeah.
learn how to get around it and be able to find your way and to get into the finish line. And what I said earlier on the stream, how do you get to your heaven, aka your happiness? That's something I had discussed about earlier. But I mean, enlighten me. I mean, do you feel as if like you're on a journey? Do you see your journey? Do you see like where you're going? Do you know what your life path is? Do you know exactly what you want? What's your spirituality?
You know what? I'm glad you asked that question because I have a certain analogy that I want to use. Like for example, life to me is sort of like a river, you know? Like the river, it flows, it keeps flowing, you know, and you just somehow go with the river. You can move or maneuver around the river, even though the river moves in like real time. Sometimes there's rock along the way. Yeah, you could either maneuver around the rocks and and just travel safely. You know, sometimes you gotta control your flow, but sometimes there's like too many rocks ahead of you, and you're forced to take a few bumps, even big ones or small ones. The thing is that even though we hit a bump in that freaking river, the river still moves, it still flows. But us, we just like daze a little bit, or we kind of broken because we got hit. But what I learned in life is that we can choose to mope about it or do something about it. So I choose to keep going with the flow and choose my path. But when I'm in like a really difficult situation where it's like life changing. Basically, like if you take a river and you see like three paths, you gotta make that decision in real time, real quick, because whatever decision you make can affect the outcome of it. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely, and I absolutely agree with you. I don't know why Dragon, but it reminded what you just said reminded me of something that Jet Li would say. Uh, a Jet Li reference when he was talking about water. Be still with the water. You know what I mean? Be calm as the water.
Ah, Bruce Lee. Yeah, yeah, but if you
Jet
really
Li,
think
Bruce
about
Lee,
it,
yeah. Bruce Lee, my
sometimes
bad.
like some people they just float. You know what I mean? They don't care. They just go wherever the river takes them. And
Hmm.
sometimes it doesn't always work on their favor. That's why I believe that even though life is unpredictable and never stops, we should never stop our flow. No, we should always keep consistent with ourselves and try to make the
Right.
right choices and to calculate. And especially when we get hit by rocks along the way, you know, sometimes we see a big rock, we go like, "Whoop, nope, you missed me with that bullshit," and then you get hit by another rock, and you gotta think about yourself, you know, what can you learn from that?
Right.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
I'm that's a good point, Dragon. And
Hmm.
to add on to your point, I'm to the
Yes.
belief that I'm to the belief that rocks are supposed to come your way because those rocks supposed to make you stronger. So it's not even about whether or not a rock is going to come and hit your way. It's like you said, what are you going to do when they do hit your way?
Yeah.
And that defines each and every individual based on what they do when that rock hits their way. Because you know, obstacles are always going to be there in life. That's just how life is. It's what you're going to do to overcome those obstacles in life, and that's what differentiates different people. Yeah.
Yep. And that's not all. Everyone's journey is different. It's just a matter of how we deal with it. You know, some people they deal with it emotionally, but some will take their time and think rationally about how can they deal with it instead of asking themselves, why me? So
Right.
I choose to like, yes, I'll ask why me, but at the same time I'll be like, oh well, time to suck it up. What am I gonna do about it? How can I, you know, like fix it? You know, how can I find a solution? That's the thing what I learned nowadays. People always wait for something to come to them rather than them initiating to do something. You know what I mean? But I realize that that shit takes a lot of effort because you gotta really put in the work and hustle, and not a lot of people wants to hustle because you gotta put in the mind, the body together. When you put the mind, body together, you can do anything. But nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
they lack ambition or reason, you know, to keep them going. But sometimes we need a little spark, you know. And even when we're down and we can't pick ourselves up, it's always nice to have that one person who can, you know, give you hope. but not babysit, because I don't believe in babysitting people or want to be babysit, because it's always important to be independent, because we got to survive. Because at the end of the day, survival is like our main priority. But after survival, if you learn to adjust to the world, it doesn't become easier. You just simply mold it into it. So like I said with the river, we gotta go with the flow and become the flow. Or in fact, we can beat the flow and nothing bad can happen. But at the same time, you gotta keep that ego in check. Even though you're doing really good, that you can lose all that really quick. That's why you gotta always be like humble and stay consistent with yourself and keep your ego in check. Yeah, I realize that, y'all know where you come from. And I look back, I'd be like, fuck. Was that me back then? And then I see myself today, like, you know what? Despite all the bullshit I've been through, I'm a survivor and I'm a warrior. And all I did was just keep pushing forward and, make the right decisions, because sometimes we can't expect other people to do things for us, because we got to do it ourselves, especially if we have the right guidance. You know what I mean?
I
That's
agree.
right.
I know
That's
I know
real
exactly
talk.
what you mean on that, Dragon. Because it's never an easy thing,
Never.
Dragon, let me ask you this. So what is your like spiritual prowess? Like, do you follow around the Bible, or do you feel like there is the Most High exists? Do you feel like there's an entity that exists in your world and stuff like that, and allowing you to enlighten yourself every day? Like, what explain?
Well, I'm pretty spiritual by default.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't really follow religion like that, because maybe it's because I never really got into it, or I never felt any purpose for it. But I did learn a lot from Christianity, because I was a Christian. I learned that to the core, that it's a constant battle against life, and everyone has different ways to like cope with it or to deal with it, because when we're born with no idea. We don't know anything. All we learn is our environment and our surroundings and what people tell us and what they do. So I believe that our mind is molded by what is surrounded by us. So I don't know, I'm not really a religious person. I'm more of spiritual.
Spiritual.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
But I do but I do love learning about other religions, because I learned that most religions, they have similar core values. It's more like a human thing, you know what I mean? Like an intuition thing, like you go with your gut feeling if it feels
Right.
right or wrong. And then we question about what is right and what is wrong, and what is reason, what is rational, what is a fallacy. Well, what is this? You know what I mean? In general. So I question everything, because I'm more about learning, like gaining information and see what is useful and what is not. But at the same time, to apply it to your own life so that you can better yourself. Or be even better, use that knowledge and try to create like an idea, you know what I mean? Like inspire others
Mm-hmm.
who are looking for a purpose in life. I'm not trying to like, change people's way of thinking. I'm trying to get them to be more think beyond what you already know. Sometimes I feel like when I hear something that I don't even understand, it makes me frustrating and uncomfortable. But that uncomfortable feeling questions me, like, why do I feel this way? Should I confront it or should I run away from it? Every time I feel uncomfortable, I feel the urge to just back away. But when I confront it, I learn to understand my own weakness instead of trying to be so prideful and close-minded. I just learn to if even if I don't agree with that person, at least I can do is understand where they're coming from, and by understanding where they're coming from, I can understand myself even more. Do you catch my drift?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
As me, Zach, I'm more of a spiritual person, but like I just like to understand and go deeper on a lot of stuff.
But I'll be real, I wasn't like this back then. I used to be rude and shut people down because I don't know, because maybe because I was afraid of the new idea, or I didn't think it was practical. But I realized that everyone's belief is personal, and I should like at least respect that because I wouldn't like it if someone disrespect what I believe. So at least I can do is understand
Yep.
Well,
and
you
live
could
for
have
it.
had
When
you
you're a
could have had a
Christian.
spiritual awakening.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
was going to say when you're a Christian, that comes with the territory because
Oh,
there's only one. There's only well, Jewish people make mockery of themselves, but then they run the media, so it's kind of okay. But Jesus is the only religious figure that's always up for grab when it comes on to mockery. There's people impersonating what they believe Jesus looks like. They use his name in vain. People make mockery of him. I mean, even at gay pride, there are men, on the like a fake cross, engaging in homosexual acts. And so Jesus is the only religious figure. It's amazing that for somebody who doesn't exist,
Dragon, I'm
people
gonna
have a
mute you
real
real
big
quick
problem with him.
because you got feedback.
I'm about
It's
to say.
amazing.
I'll go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, for somebody who doesn't exist or doesn't matter, I mean, they go to great lengths to undermine him all the time. So, I mean, for me, there's only one way, and that's Christ. But I hear what you're saying. There's something that you can learn from every religion, but yeah, I'm good. I've got everything I need in my Bible.
But what I'm about to sit there say is these churches, they do the wrong stuff now, like they treat strictly here. But here's the thing: they do the wrongest things. They lie. They money. They celebrate these paganist holidays when it said not to do it.
Well, yeah,
That's
I realized that there'll always be people who have agendas for their own selfish reasons. So you can't always, like categorize all of them together. I believe that there's assholes and bigger assholes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay, let's be real. We're all assholes, but there's some people who are like willing to do like below the belt shit.
Oh yeah.
Because some people just know no boundaries or limits. Me, I know my boundaries because I realize that it can get back to me.
Yep. That's you think those people in those churches, exactly those pastors, they sold out. They've been sold out.
It's all
That's right.
business.
Yeah.
I mean, look, lesson learned when I seen Creflo Dollar sit up there and say, God wanted me to have a $5 million jet or like that too.
Well, that's a sign of the times.
What
The
a
scripture
hurricane.
already told us. Well, the scripture already told us that in the last days, many people will depart from the faith, and that there's going to be a great falling away, and there's going to be a lot of deception. And so, I was going to even do a little video on this because there was a period where people were getting exposed left, right, and center, and pastors were being revealed as having women on the side and all kind of issues. And Jamal Bryant cannot keep himself to himself, which is just a constant theme of his life, kind of thing. And people are like, oh my gosh, all these pastors are falling down. And it's like, this is exactly what the scripture told us was going to happen. That as the time of the return of Christ approaches, a lot of people are going to depart from the faith. And you're going to see that there's only going to be a remnant of people who are really trying to hold on. Just because the seats are full, it doesn't mean that the people are actually saved. So, yeah, so I understand a lot of people get disheartened when they hear a lot of the things that are happening in the so-called Christian world. But really and truly, that's supposed to be an indicator that what the scripture said was coming to pass, you're there, you're at that point, because there was a scripture that said the kingdom of heaven is going to be like a tree and the birds of the air nest in its branches. And that scripture always troubled me because birds often represent spirits and not all birds are clean. But it didn't say clean birds, it just said birds. And I thought, well, why would the body of Christ, which is the collection of believers, is the church, why would it be full of different kinds of spirits? But now we see the new age has crept into the church. Like, for example, if you go to Joel Osteen's church, He always has that very low lighting with this very hypnotic music. That music,
Oh, you just saw. You
that
just.
music is new age music,
I want to
and a lot
expose
of
him. I want to expose him. Those
yeah,
foul. I want to expose him. I really do.
about back in the maybe the early 2000s and 90s, there were a lot of people going to India and learning like the Kundalini yoga and things like that, and that it comes across like a move of the Holy Spirit with like holy laughter and people falling out and things like that, but it's actually like and you were talking about the chakras earlier. It's people trying to actually probably tune into the concept of chakras and counterfeit Holy Spirit movement. So the church has gradually become influenced, shall I say, or not influenced. That's not really the word I'm looking for, because people are so let's just say they're chasing miracles and outward expressions. A lot of charlatans have come into the church with what looks like the power of God, but it's actually they're using other powers. They're worshiping other gods and passing it off as the Holy Spirit. So the falling away that we see right now is what was prophesied to happen. It's just all part of approaching the end. I know I know a lot of people, and I understand why a lot of brothers have an issue with the church, because I have some of the same issues, that they don't cater to men and they're very matriarchal and it's very emotional and things like that. But in terms of the falling away, that is what we have to expect.
I just wonder, like, if we're saying the end times, what does the end actually look like? You know what I'm saying? Maybe on my part, I got to read the scriptures to understand it. Like I
Chaos.
said,
Well, we can check some scriptures. I mean, if you want, you can pull up um, 1 Timothy 4 or 2 Timothy 3,
mm-hmm.
and I mean, if you might as well, you open that scripture, you've opened like a newspaper, because it's unfolding, but it's unfolding and it's accelerating. More and more people are leaving organized religions and they're going to religion or spirituality, because spirituality, you become your own god.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's
not well, not really.
Not
Depends on
really.
how. Not really depends
You
what you look
dictate.
upon as spirituality. But a lot of people. Well, if you're going to go according to the scriptures don't talk about joining a religion. The scriptures speaks
No, I
about
understand
the
that. Yeah,
scriptures
for
speak
real.
about following the law, statutes, and commandments of the heavenly Father. That's what it speaks about.
Yeah,
But
being in the right relationship and things
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, definitely.
But as far as
But
to
people who are
answer, hold on for a minute,
mm,
antisocial. But to answer Bronzebird's question about how would the end looks like, well, the Bible really talks about, even when you read from the book of Revelations to the book of Isaiah to the book of Ezekiel to the book of Jeremiah to what antisocial is pointing out, the epistles of Timothy, it speaks about the end of this society as we know it, the last empire, the United States of America / modern day Babylonian Empire.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Babylon
the
is America. Yep.
Babylon, exactly. It's the end of the rulership of the people that really run the society. So when it comes to the end of the world, it's not the end of the world, it's the end of this society as we know it. Because after the end of this society, it's going to be our people, the true descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel, that's going to have rulership over this society. And it's really who the world calls Jesus Christ, the Messiah, that's really going to be the king of this new society, that's going
Yep.
to rule the society. The Most High and the King, the Hamashiach, who the world called Jesus Christ, and underneath is the 144,000 of the 12, which is 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. That's going to be the government body of this new world, the new Jerusalem that the book of Revelations speak about. So basically, what I'm saying, to make it, to end what I'm saying, it's not the end of the world, it's the end of this society.
Okay. Right. And I seen that on Fox News. Like Fox News, like they didn't say it like in codes. They was just like, what would the American society empire dying look like? And it was crazy. But I just want to give this funny saying before y'all continue. That's right. Read.
That's right.
And I'd say it's like now.
Salakia.
Now, as for the people who are in power, the elites, your time's almost up, bitch. Like seriously, like straight up.
Seriously.
Your time's up, bitches.
Like seriously.
Like seriously.
Like seriously, Dragon. But yeah.
But I mean, if you look at everything that's transpiring, it's just like now it's at the point where you just have to take. I don't want to say take sides, but it's just like you start to have an understanding about where people's mindset is at. That's why a lot of people like us, when we stand on our square and we say we don't tolerate this and we don't tolerate that, so many people is at our neck like, why you come up twice? That's weird.
I mean, like that's not the only person whose time is up besides the elites. The celebrities, y'all's time's up too. People.
Well, celebrities' times is up, of course, right? But the fact of the matter is, they've already been compromised. That's
by the way,
the what?
The celebrities, they're just puppets.
Yeah, they are. They're governed by the contract or whatever. And this is something I actually wanted to talk about too. The concept of black magic and sex magic. I've said this on plenty of streams. I definitely do believe spirits is real. Like I'm not joking with people. People just think spirits is just people doing magic tricks. No, spirits actually really exist in people. Like your home could be filled with spirits. You know what I'm saying? Like places you go could be filled with spirits. Like a lot of people can't reach that dimension. That's why like I have no problem having that conversation. Antisocial, why are you pulling up twice? I don't know why. But anyway, let me continue.
I was just wondering, could I share my screen?
Yeah, you can share your screen. Sure.
I don't know how. I've got a screen up because I'm using StreamYard on my mobile, but I wanted to share a screen. But that means I have to open it on the computer.
Yeah, I've never really tried to do it from. I never tried to do it from my phone. But if you was on your computer, yeah, you could share your screen.
So the second one, me that's in the bottom.
You want me to remove that one?
It's sort of easy to share on a computer. You just gotta go to share screen.
Yeah, just share screen. But on a phone, it's gonna be more harder. I don't know how to do it on the phone. Oh, okay. Yeah.
All
there
right,
you
so
go.
I'm just in one place now. Hey.
Yeah, you got it.
I see it.
I don't know if you guys can see that because it looks like it's a little bit small.
We can see it. We can see it fine and clear. Yeah, you got the floor.
So while you were talking, I just wanted to pull up this scripture because you were asking about the signs of the time, and this is Matthew 24. So there's a number of things that you can just, like while you're talking, Bronze, we can just go through it, or do you want to go through it first?
However you want to do it. We can talk about it. We can, just go ahead. I mean, you got the floor.
So, Matthew 24, Jesus left the temple and was walking away, and his disciples came to him and said to him, came up to him to call to his attention to this building. So, do you see these things? He asked, truly I tell you, not one stone will be left one on another. And I think that's talking about the destruction of the temple that was in, 70 AD, but he was talking about himself. And as Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately. Tell us, they said, when will this happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? And Jesus said, watch out that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, claiming I'm the Messiah, and will deceive many. You will hear of wars, rumors of wars. But see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. These are just the beginnings of sorrow. Nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be famine, earthquakes in various places. All these will be the beginning of birth pains. And then you'll be handed over, persecuted, hated of all nations, blah, blah, blah. There'll be false preachers, false teachers, a lot of wickedness. The love of most will go cold. People will be without natural affection. But the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. And the gospel will be preached all over the world. So, that's one of the main sets of signs that there's going to be a lot of calamity. There's going to be a lot of confusion, and people will be so desperate for a leader. They'll be so desperate for somebody to just bring peace to the Middle East and fix global warming and end world famine and all this kind of the stuff that's actually quite contrived. It's not really real. That they will beg for a leader, and that's how they will usher in the Antichrist.
I feel like they're doing that low key now.
Yeah.
Like there's so many examples I see. Like, well, I mean, a lot of it's tough to say this. I mean, well, I have a small channel, so fuck it. I can say whatever I want.
Yep.
My thing about it is the first thing that comes to mind is every single time I think about the thing like the Baphomet, the Transformers come to mind, and it just seems as if like certain ideologies that pull into liberalism is just a telltale sign of like why I believe that's happening, or like various events that happen. Like I've heard about an earthquake that happened a couple of months ago, or rebelliousness happening in like such as places like Palestine. Now this is the thing. I'm grateful y'all here. Wacky and Blue Lion. Did y'all hear about how they're trying to kick out the Hebrew Israelites that's in Demonia right now?
No, I did not hear about that.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear about that at all. Like I heard.
They're trying to kick them out.
I didn't hear nothing about this. I mean, like I heard about the whole, Israel towards the other, of the whole war thing, that was going on over there.
Yeah, they're trying to kick out. They're trying to kick out what it would be our people out of Demonia right now, like out of Israel. They're saying they got to get out. They're kicking them out.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
man.
Hey, Bronze.
I thought a lot of them now are citizens of Israel, because if you know the history of the brothers and sisters out in Demonia, for a long time, hold on.
After Wacky.
For a long time, the Israeli government have denied the brothers and sisters in Demonia, citizenship. So they were just known as like a second class. But I think about a decade ago, a lot of them were given citizenship. So to me, it's funny how now you got the Israeli government kicking them out, but a lot of them are citizens. So it's like, how you gonna kick out citizens?
But
that's fucked up.
Yeah, like okay. Hold on.
Like I'm not saying that you lying. I'm just saying
no, not at all.
You get what I'm saying, right?
I get what you mean. Like I'm gonna pull up an article. After you done Antisocial, you can go on if you want. But I'm gonna share.
I'm just gonna let you know that I'm about to take off. I'm about to do something else. But thanks for having me here, man.
Thanks for coming in, man. You're welcome anytime. Come back next week.
Yeah.
Next Friday.
No problem, man.
Good night, Dragon. Good night.
Yeah, good night. You too, Arthur.
You too, Dragon.
Peace. But yeah, I'm gonna, after Antisocial shows this, I'm gonna show you the article where they dead ass say it right there for the screen, man. Oh, I think I could pull up the video. They got a video on it, so I could pull that up too. But go ahead, Antisocial.
Yeah, I'm not gonna keep you guys long because I'm not gonna try and turn this into a whole Bible study, but this is another scripture that a lot of people can use. It's 2 Timothy 3. And it just says here, but mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of good, treacherous, rash, deceitful, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, and having a form of godliness but denying the power, have nothing to do with such. So
that's true.
So when we see the pastors and a lot, you mentioned Creflo Dollar talking about God wanted me to have a jet. I mean, I haven't got a problem with the man having a jet as long as he's using his own money and not making out somehow this is the will of God. And, as long as he's using his own cash for it, I don't mind. But a lot of people say, well, what will the end times look like? It's laid it out, not completely, but you can see the world is tending towards hedonism. And that's really all I wanted to show. There's other scriptures we can discuss, but let's see, what was the article you were going to pull up?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean, but yeah, I mean, the world's getting more darker, of course, and people are not paying no attention, especially once you keep believing what the government says. It's like you need to wake up and smell reality. You know what's coming. You just need to pay attention. I said, they'll be blind to it, but people are still believing what the government says. And
Well, yeah, I mean, the government has become the god, isn't it, of this world? People rather trust people than God.
Okay, you guys, if you don't mind, I have the video up here if y'all want to watch real quick.
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah,
I don't think RT is gonna make a big deal because you know they gotta be sensitive about the copyright. I'll just say fair use. God damn it.
You can put fair use and maybe put something over the top.
The what?
Maybe you can put something over the top. Like, have you got
Yeah, I'll put fair use.
You know what? Yeah. I mean, you know what, Bronzebird? If you could find the article, it's better if you use the article. I mean, I'm not saying don't use the video. It's up to you if you want to play the video, but I'm just saying it's better to use the article to screenshot the article.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll probably, to be on the safe side, I'll probably do that instead.
Because they might give you a copyright claim, but they wouldn't necessarily strike your channel.
Yeah, they gave me a copyright claim already for a bunch of my streams because of the music I played. But it's all good.
Me too.
I just don't
where his things, Robert, right? So like the only music I used to play on my streams, like after I start up stream, I used to hear some live music, or sometimes I just use video game music. That's all I use. I don't use stuff.
I try to use underground music, but as much as I use underground music, sometimes I can't even get away with that. So I mean, it's kind of rolling the dice, but it's okay. Listen, I'm not monetized, so what most of it could they do?
But on the flip side though, when it comes to the Copyright Act of 1976 in the U.S., it says that you can play copyright material as long as you utilize it for the purpose of either teaching or criticism and things of that nature. You know, so it goes along fair use if you do screenshot the video. Right. And because what we're doing, but because the purpose of that's if you decide to screenshot the video and show it to us, the purpose is for we can critique the video. So it does go under the guise of fair use. But at the same time, though, Google would like to still give a copyright strike, even though you're utilizing it for in the lawful purpose of fair use. I don't know. Google is something else, man.
Yeah, they some. Nah, I just feel as if I'll probably play it safe and probably read the article. Just show y'all the article.
Yeah, they're corrupted. Google them, they're all corrupted.
Yeah, they all corrupted. Sick demented and all that other stuff. Oh, okay. You got another scripture, Anti?
No, I was looking at this one. This one is 1 Timothy 4, and it just says, the Spirit clearly says, in latter times some will abandon the faith and follow deceiving spirits and things taught by demons. Such teachings come through hypocritical liars whose consciences have been seared as with hot iron. So we see that already now. Aleister Crowley's teachings of do what thou wilt, New Age, as you were talking about the sex magic, and a lot of, just depraved sexual behavior is becoming normalized. So, as I said before, people think that the tarot cards have something or the idol has something, but the scripture tells us that behind all these things is nothing but demonic spirits. When you worship the idol, you're just bowing before a demon. And so, as more, notice everything's got Buddha statues in it. You watch a commercial and there's a Buddha statue, or people want to just decorate their homes with Buddha statues, even though they're not Buddhists. And you think, well, why do you need this idol if you don't subscribe to this belief? But it's because they want to normalize idolatry in people's lives.
Right. So, right. That's a very good scripture, by the way, man. Some will bend the faith and follow deceiving spirits and things taught by demons.
Woo! That's exactly what they're doing. Because I seen people celebrate these holidays with these apartments I stay at. It's like this is not the first time. It's like they were and then one of them said that in the office I went to, they're like, Happy Memorial Day. I'm like, think about something. I don't celebrate that stuff. Like, I don't know why you saying that to me. I don't celebrate none of this stuff, so I don't know why y'all saying it to me. Like, period.
Yeah.
Like, straight up.
Yeah. When you study the history of these so-called holidays, like, Blue Lion was saying, they have a pagan origin to it.
Yep.
Yeah,
and a lot of people get offended by it when you speak that truth and expose it.
So I got the video up. I'm about to share the screen. Fair use, of course.
Be careful.
We should be good. Yeah, we should be good. I'm pretty sure we should be good. If anything, then it is what it is. But again, I'm a small channel. God damn it.
I'm a small channel too.
Yeah. I got you. But I think I should be all right. Let me go ahead and share the screen. Y'all go ahead and keep talking. I'm just trying to see what's good.
I posted Power Rangers exactly and stuff and Yu-Gi-Oh! On that. You two got me on that, but I kept going.
All right. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, hear you.
All right. Go ahead and play it. Fair use.
Now, amidst the noise of the recent clashes with Palestinians, another crisis is going mostly under the radar. Dozens of members of the African Hebrew Israelites, believing to be descendants of an ancient Israelite tribe, now facing deportation. The Interior Ministry reportedly giving upwards of 46 families just 2 months to leave the country despite having permanent residency status. Joining me now,
Bro, 2 months, man.
Now with more, though, is Hebrew Israelite Community Representative Ashrael Moore. Ashrael, thank you so much for being with us. Now, you just came out of a meeting, I understand, with the Minister of Interior. What was discussed in the meeting, and were there any developments?
Well, first of all, good afternoon to you, and thank you for having me, and good afternoon to all of our viewing audience. Just a bit of accuracy. We were not meeting with the Ministry of Interior. We were meeting with the Deputy Minister of Internal Security, who's a personal friend of the communities, and who's looking forward to assisting us. He's from the Ethiopian community, pt.II. And what we discussed, very simply, just so you can have a general picture, you see, we have approximately 135 people right now who have upward of about 50 days now to be out of the country. Now, when we look at these people, we're considering you have those who've been in Israel since 1969, 1970. You have children and second and third generation of their children who've been born in Israel who don't have any legal status in any other country in the world. You have those who have matriculated through the systems of Israel, most notably the military, and they're either family members or parents are up for deportation. There's a situation here that we've tried to settle with the Ministry of Interior, and we've tried to settle it for the last 53 years. But somehow, some way, we've always run into stumbling blocks where they would just not allow us to do so. And this time around was a bit stranger because they gave us a feeling that they actually wanted to settle the cases. And we were in this situation with them for approximately a year now, since August of last year. They requested that we provide to them a listing of the those who are up for not deportation, but those who do not have any legal status here in Israel right now, and they'll settle the cases. But guess what they received in turn? They received a deportation note letting them know that they have up to 60 days to be out of the country.
So what changed? How is it possible to remove this residency status in cases such as this? And why just these 46 families?
You see, it's not just the 46 families. In 2014, when then Minister of Interior Gideon Saib came to Dimona to visit us, he wanted to settle all of the cases because those who immigrated to Israel in 1969, they immigrated under the law of return. But the law of return, and they received legal citizenship, not status just, legal citizenship. But the law of return changed in 1970, and then that law was no more relevant for us. So those who had citizenship, their citizenship was revoked, first of all, and then we began the legal battle. Now, in 2014, Gideon Saib wanted to put a close to this situation once and for all, and he began the process, actually began to settle cases, but he just didn't get around to everybody because he was just in office for a year and a half. And when Aryeh Deri returned to the office, everything that Gideon Saib had begun, he absolutely annihilated. And the process for deportation, I think, actually started then in 2015 when they simply just drug the cases out up until 2020 when they allowed us once again to come to speak to them. And then they gave the impression that they were willing to now settle everything once and for all. and then we are now served deportation notes.
So my final question to you is, do you think that this is a technical issue of some sort, or do you think there's maybe more political or even religious motivations behind these decisions? And might it even have anything to do with the smaller held belief amongst the community that the Black Hebrew Israelites are the true descendants as opposed to other white appearing Jews?
I think it's very simple. You see, we have not came up on these obstacles because we're not part of the whole house of Israel. We have not experienced all of these difficulties just because we have our different beliefs in regards to how we should keep the laws of the Bible. We have a very specific feeling about this, and we feel that we're just not wanted here in Israel. The color of our skin plays a very big part in it, obviously, because we're not the only community here in Israel who's experiencing such difficulties. Even the Ethiopian community is experiencing their own difficulties in their own way. The policies of immigration in Israel says, obviously, that those who were born in Israel and have no other status in any other country is eligible for citizenship. And in 2002, Ariel Sharon reassured the then congressman that that everybody who was born in Israel would actually receive citizenship. But obviously that has not happened. So it's been a continual process of trying to actually uproot us from Israel. And I think we've reached a peak at this moment. And I'm happy that it's catching the kind of attention that it's catching, because it has to come to an end.
All right. Well, I'm happy to be a part of it, and I wish you the best in this battle with the government. Ashreel, thank you so much for being with us.
Wow.
Yep. That was as you can see, that was recent. That was around April and May when I saw that, and I was just, this is wild, man. Because I started studying that stuff about Demona, and I was just like, okay, yeah, our people is over there, but then it's like now they're trying to sit up there because there's a lot of stuff going around in the Middle East, and then it's just like I found that out, and I'm like, that's wild. And of course, that has to do with their skin color. They don't want them to be on that land.
Yep.
Of course.
So yeah, man. Of course, I peeped that out. It's crazy, man. Eric, peace to you, man. I know you just came on the panel. What's going on, man?
Yeah, peace and blessings to all of y'all, man.
Morgan.
What's up, Eric? What's up, Eric?
Nothing much, man.
Peace.
This is highly intelligent. So they want to they immigrate from Ethiopia to Israel, right?
Correct.
So what's the problem? Because Israel was our country, because it was part of Africa at some point, and people said it still is to this day.
It is. The only problem is the government.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's the biggest problem. It's like you can't, it's like you try to slice a pizza. Like you try to have half, and the person want to have half, but the person don't want to have half. They want it for themselves.
Power, it's about power, control, and greed, and money.
Right, exactly. That's all evil intentions. Yeah,
and
greed.
And it's funny, based on that news clipping that Bronzebird just showed, that the government is going against their own law, because according to what the brother was saying in that clip, it states that according to the laws of Israel, that anyone born in that land and that have no ties to any other country are citizens of that country. But you see that the government is going against that very same law. So of course race is applied to it, because if these brothers and sisters living in Demona was of the lighter hue, I guarantee you would not be the same treatment.
Oh, but that's not the only thing, exactly. They still want to bring in that new world order, and it's just taking them time and years before they bring that over here, before it's officially here. That's exactly what they're doing. Behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know that. The money, the gas, the food, all of it. People ain't paying no attention to that.
Yeah, that's true.
All distractions.
That's true. And back to the comment in reference to the video that Brownsburg put up. Now, if you pay attention to a lot of the situation when it comes to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a lot of the conflict has to do with a lot of the current conflict between the Israeli government and the Palestinian governments has to do with the Israeli government taking more and more of Palestinian territory away from the Palestinian people as the Israeli government build more and more Israeli settlements in once used to be Palestinian territory. So they're kicking the Palestinian people out, and that's causing more trouble amongst the Palestinian people, which causes more drama between the Israeli and Palestinian conflict. So that's for sure the situation in the West Bank. So the reason why I'm saying that is because I would not be surprised if the same issue in the West Bank is going on in Dimona, as far as the Israeli government wants to build more Israeli settlements for the Caucasian Israelis in Dimona and kick the original people out.
Right.
If you get what I mean. I would not be surprised if that's the case.
Oh, I know why. To dictate.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. And they're not going to stop until they exactly get what they want. And they're not going to stop until something's done about it.
Yeah. And for the record, anybody watching this and calling us anti-Semitic, guess what? We are Semitic. So I can't be anti-Semitic because how could I be against myself? I am Semitic.
That's right.
Israelite. Yeah.
Read.
Yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of people that don't know, say, first of all, we're Israelites, exactly. But of course, y'all been dark-dated by lies.
Yeah. I'm a true descendant of the 12 tribe of Israel, who are descendants of Shem, which makes me a Semitic individual. So I can't be against myself. If I'm anti-Semitic, that means I'm against myself. I can't be against myself.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I don't want anyone accusing me or any one of us of being anti-Semitic. We're Semitic people.
Exactly. I'm pronounced.
Agreed. Like, it's nothing else to be said. Like, you just gotta understand that. But of course, people would twist that around the words and be like, "Yeah, you just hate this, that, and the third group." And it's like, no. With proper understanding and research and knowledge, you would understand that what I'm saying is actually true. But it goes back to our point earlier. Like, people don't like the truth, and they deflect and say that it's a problem. Where people like us, saying exactly what's the real stuff, man. It's just sick what they're doing out in Dimona. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, but y'all got it.
But you know what?
They get offended very easily. As soon as you speak up that truth to it, I'm offended. You're being a hater. You're negative. That's all they do is get mad and complain. They try to point fingers. It's like, well, can you counter what I just said? No, because you're in your feelings.
Emotionally based. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I dealt with this so many times, it's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm used to it.
And you know what's so funny, Blue Line? It's so funny when you're giving people facts.
Yep.
And then when you give people facts, they respond with the words "I feel." You know, they're going to try to debate your points with statements beginning with the words "I feel." I feel like this. I feel like that. Listen. If we're giving you facts, then your feelings don't matter.
Correct.
You know, if we're giving you facts and you're going to counter our facts with counter evidence to prove that our facts is wrong. You don't counter facts with feelings. I hate when people do that.
Oh yeah, I'm a bitch by the Senate individual. Brian delivers. He couldn't counter anything I said. He was in his feelings. He couldn't counter anything that I said.
Fuck your feelings.
Yeah. It's like, just like if, let me use RBR's statement of 2 + 2 = 4. The fact is 2 + 2 = 4. How the hell could somebody respond to that by saying, well, I feel that 2 + 2 = 3? Who cares what you feel? What the facts are? The fact is 2 + 2 = 4.
Because what I do is, when it comes to this stuff, I study ahead of time. I'm always top of everything before I bring out to the public. So I already know.
The scriptures did say, "Study to show thyself approved."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to study to prove that what you're saying is correct. Study.
Yeah, like for example, my mom said I was negative. Oh, you really just like, nope, mom, we're not going through this exactly. I already debunked everything you said, so we're not even gonna go there. You already lost already, so don't even try it because I know what your argument gonna be. And this art was over. Oh, you said about Memorial, they're like, because it's the truth. Hey, y'all don't like to handle the truth. You don't want to hear that truth. You want to sit there and say we're negative. But every single time I counter, you want to get in your feelings or you say something. But you know I'm right. Exactly.
Truth hurts, man. The truth really does hurt. Certain people can either take it for what it is or they can cry. Like, that's the only thing you can say to them. Yeah.
When I expose 4th of July, right? They're gonna get in their feelings again. Ain't gonna be surprised because I know too much. It's gonna happen.
Power the knowledgeable, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I study this stuff. That's why, and I follow what the Bible says, straight up. So I'm like people like, how do you sleep at night? Let's see. There's no demons around me. There's nothing I see exactly because I can sleep in peace. You can't if you're celebrating stuff. You can't. Yeah. So that's a difference. Because my balance is the light. But go ahead, Brownsbird.
No, I ain't got nothing. Y'all got any other words?
Oh, well, people really get emotional when you break down the history of Christmas, the true history of Christmas.
Oh, yes. They got so emotional. I dealt with that before. I debunked Christmas like twice, and people got so emotional over it. Yeah. It's like they couldn't even handle it. Like, they were like, what the fuck? Like, yes, I did. Yes, I did, because I have my evidence to back it up.
But it's the truth, though. But, you know, the scriptures do say that when you tell someone the truth, if they reject it, what you do, you wipe the dust off your feet and you walk away. That's all we can do at the end of the day. We could tell the truth, but once we give you the truth, it's up to that individual listening to either accept it or not.
Exactly.
After we tell the truth, our job is to just keep it moving. That's it.
I mean, for example, people get offended when I expose the Freemason hand signs. Like, well, it's the damn truth. You're sitting there following what Satan, Lucifer is doing, the Baphomet. You know, sit there get offended because what I say. Come on now, that make you weak-minded, man.
That was a game changer when I started realizing the peace sign. That's why I don't try to do that sign in general. Like the peace sign was just like it was related, and then like there's a hand gesture I usually see, like the one hand inside the coat or inside the clothing.
Oh, it's like double horns 666.
Yeah, like it was because I'm just thinking, they're just putting their hands inside their pocket, but I was just mind blown on like seeing those hand gestures. I was like, okay, don't do the peace sign. I've been stopped doing the Baphomet sign, the rock and roll sign, and then it was another sign that I just don't like to see, or I would never do. And of course, Jay-Z's the rock sign. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But you know what really got me? The Black Power fist. That's when I really know. I was like, oh shit! Like I didn't even know that was related to something.
Yeah, you're thinking I don't do no hand signs. Period. Like I get annoyed when I see these signs, but I don't say that too much. But I get very annoyed easily.
Yeah, I try not to do the peace sign like the peace sign. Like I'll try to put my pointer finger and my middle finger together, and then because that's not, it doesn't represent the Baphomet as far as I'm concerned. If I'm wrong, then let me know. But
I want to say I find it hypocritical how some of these persons they do these signs or they celebrate paganist holidays when they said not to do it, they still do it.
Yeah, cognitive dissonance, and then it's like once you start to realize a lot of these holidays is annoying as hell. It's geared towards the woman. Like I've said this on another video of mine. Like, specifically like Valentine's Day, which you found out.
Well, I suppose that.
Yeah, they had to deal with like pedo stuff, and then like Christmas about Saturnalia, the whole thing with New Year's, in which I choose not to celebrate New Year's. I try to say like I would only like to only give credence to March and April, because that's supposed to signify the rebirth of life. So and plus January was never supposed to be the new year. January 1st. And if you even break it down to a second dimensional level, it doesn't make sense. How could the dead of winter represent new life when it's dead? There's nothing living. Like, it's barren.
That represents death.
Exactly. And that's why I'm just like, it's backwards. Once I started to understand that, I was like, January 1st doesn't make sense. But once the spring equinox comes along, it starts to make a little bit more sense, because it's just like, yes, like the rebirth of life. Now you got things coming back in order, like the snow sheds or whatever and stuff like that, and then all the animals start to come out, dragonflies, flies, all these different things. You know what I mean? It starts to make sense, And even if you understand like weather patterns too, birds fly south for the winter. Then they come back when it's warmer in the north, and when it's warmer. So it starts to make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I gotta ask y'all some things. Like, what was your opinion when I exposed Memorial Day? A lot of people got in their feelings. A lot of people did not, but they didn't. It was like mixed. Like,
it's okay. This is the information they need. So that's why I'm saying there's only certain people who's going to receive it in a well manner. You know what I'm saying? Others is not going to receive it well, because they're going to be like, what are you talking about? You're a conspiracy theorist. And the only way they're calling you a conspiracy theorist is that they want you to shut up, because they don't want it goes back to my point. Certain people do not want to reach certain dimensional planes. They want to stay dormant on the plane that they're at. So they can't operate on the same level that you're at. That's the problem.
No, it took me a long time, because thanks to the people that I used to watch and follow. Alex Jones, I'm going to bring you up. InfoWars, Godson, many others, Man of Valor, Gossip Talk Radio. See, they woke me up, and I had to do research. Like, I was not used to it, so I started listening more about it, and I started learning. So, well, Memorial Day is pagan, and there's a lot more in there that people don't realize how deep it is with that holiday in general. It's on my channel. I expose it. You can look it up yourself on YouTube and on Google. It tells you a whole lot about that holiday, or any holiday.
But you know what though? Going to, when it comes to Bronzebird's statement, when he said that some people were trying to silence you by accusing you of being a conspiracy theorist, it's funny, because usually when you give when you spread truth that's considered as quote unquote conspiracy theory, years later what happens? Society ends up accepting that truth. And,
they get confused and upset, or they be like, "Whoa, is this true?"
Yeah,
they be looking at it that way.
Exactly. And check this out. And one example I'll give to you is when you look in the mainstream media. I made a video about this. When you look at the mainstream media, people are now acknowledging that systematic racism exists. And also, a few days ago, you have people celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa massacre, and you even have there was a speech in which Joe Biden acknowledged the existence of Black Wall Street when he spoke on the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre.
Oh my gosh, Joe Biden!
But like 13, 14 years ago, like that first generation of the Black manosphere where I come from, we was talking about that like 14 years ago, and people tried to shut us up by calling us conspiracy theorists. We was been talking about institutional racism and breaking it down to its very core, and why it exists, how it exists, why it still exists today, what's the point of it, and people was calling us crazy. We were speaking about Black Wall Street back then. People was calling us crazy, and now it's funny that you got the mainstream media talking about it. It's even to a point where the History Channel did a documentary on the Tulsa massacre. It's like, damn.
Oh my gosh.
What was once considered conspiracy theory back in 2007, 2008. Now in 2021, people accept it as the honest truth. And it's like, wow, it's just funny how society is.
Yep.
How at one time people refuse to accept the truth that you're giving them, but years later they end up accepting it. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I was calling conspiracy theory, like, talking about Area 51 and the microchip, and also like later on, like, oh shoot, they was right about the microchip and all that. Like, yes, we was.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's not easy like people think doing that type of content I do. It's not as easy as people think it is. I've not done it in a while, but I will be getting back to doing it because I got post some past content that I made of the conspiracy exactly that I did. And it's not easy doing research and then making a video about it and getting the sources together and then put it up there. It's not as easy as people think it is. Or even doing a stream about it. It's a lot of work.
Right. I remember 14 years ago, I was making videos speaking about how the CIA was trafficking drugs into the United States for years. And a lot of these drugs got into the black community. Thus, you have the birth of the crack epidemic, the crack cocaine epidemic of the 1980s, mostly in black neighborhoods in America.
Mm-hmm.
I was called a conspiracy theorist about that. Now you got people making television series on what I just said 14 years ago. You know?
14 years?
Yeah, 14 years ago. Yeah, like Snowfall.
I mean, like, for example, I exposed Power Rangers, all that stuff, Pokemon, like, so you're like, I don't see nothing wrong with Pokemon. Like, hello, Pokemon's demonic. If you pay attention exactly to the quote characters, like the Pokemon, like Pikachu and all that, they're very demonic. If you pay attention, if you pay close attention, you see exactly what I'm coming from, like everybody else, but you don't pay attention. You just think it's all innocent. Power Rangers is another way. Many others. I know this stuff because I pay attention. I look closely. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, there's something not right about this whatsoever. They try to make it all innocent. Devil May Cry 5, they try to defend that. Like, nope, there's a lot of symbolism with Devil May Cry. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true. I remember.
Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't exposed Mortal Kombat yet, but a lot of people not gonna like that too. But when I bring the truth of Mortal Kombat, they're not gonna like that too.
It's about to get real.
Yeah, I can think it.
Of course.
It's about to get real.
Of course, I get real. Like when I expose stuff, I get real. I grab my receipts.
That's right. All right, I'm gonna drop down soon. All right, wait. Before I make the closing thoughts, great topic as usual. I want to bring in next week something I want to call the International Embassy, in which I'm going to be talking about this dumbass war. And it's the weirdest thing because so many people, especially in this space, they'll say things like, "You're not from America, you're from the UK," or the dumbass argument about ADOS versus Caribbeans, which I'll never understand, right? Because to me, we all family. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's ridiculous. Like, somebody makes the analogy of like saying like back in the day, like, you know, people get upset because they say certain people that's in the hip hop culture, they find out they're Caribbean. Well, they're not really African American. I said, bro, you know how dumb y'all sound? The fact of the matter, in World War II, you had Caribbeans and black people fighting back to back with each other in the Tuskegee, with the Tuskegee, San Juan Hill, the list goes on. So I'm just putting that out for namesake. Next week, that's what I'm going to be talking about because, honestly, in my opinion, even from being from New York, I don't see a difference. You know, especially if you have the remedial topics of conversations. Certain Dominicans try to put themselves on the brink like they better than ADOS. Or Puerto Ricans do it sometimes too. But I just wanted to let that out there. That's what next week's topic is going to be about. Just to explore because I just find it interesting, and a lot of topics coincide with, you know, the differences in quote unquote culture. But, you know, obviously Western culture is still the same. It's all about still trying to give in to pre-communism. And just a lot of people don't pick up on that concept. They're just going around with remedial conversations. as melanated people, that is. But
Yes, melanated people.
yeah, like it's
Yep.
just ridiculous. So I definitely hope y'all come around next week for that conversation,
Oh,
so
I'll
we
be there.
can, yeah, so we can have a more in-depth conversation about it, and we can give our thoughts and opinions, and we could just chat up about that, because I think it would be good, because I just seen it last week. I'm sorry, yo, this shit made me laugh. Like, um, I'm sorry. Antisocial always call her friend. Your friend was on a panel, and I believe the lady is what, Bomb Cherry. She was having a conversation. There was like, poor people, poor black people in the United States might not understand what a teacup is. This, that, and third. I said everybody knows what a cup is. So I mean, if you see a cup, you know what a cup is. It doesn't matter if it's a McDonald's cup or it's a teacup. You know it's a cup. God damn it. So it's just amazing. They try to find all these like random ass like straw mans to try to clarify you don't know shit about American culture, as if it needs to be some like pity party, feel sorry for me as an ADOS. Like, no, like I'm tired of the whole excuses of that shit too. Like, no, it's not about feeling bad. I'm sitting on governed soil. God damn it, finally cool as a so-called African American. Like, I'm fine with that. So cut that shit out. But yeah, I hope y'all come around next week for that conversation. And we should dig deep. Even if you want to share your personal experiences, whether living in New York or living in UK, or about the experiences of differences of melanated people, that would be great for me, because I'm just trying to take a study on that myself. So, last words on it. Anybody?
Well, yeah. I'll be there exactly, and anybody wants to check out what I do, you are welcome to. But also, I need to add this to my list. I'm going to expose Disney. I'm coming for you, Disney. I'm coming for you to expose you. I'm coming for them.
Good. Wacky.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Wacky. Antisocial?
Yeah, man, this was a really good discussion. I really enjoyed it. I think we shared a lot. I learned a lot, and yeah, these conversations have to be had, because a lot of people they're walking through life, they are asleep, and you're talking about exposing a lot of people. They don't know what's coming. They don't see what's happening, and they're not paying attention to the signs of the times. And so yeah, platforms like this are needed to have that conversation, because it's one of the few places in the manosphere where people are actually bringing these different concepts together and saying, look, we're not just talking about culture or black people. There is a spiritual element that also needs to be addressed. I know some people want to take it out, but it needs to be injected back in. So, great panel as usual. Great conversation, and it's good to see everybody. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Good coming through. Appreciate you. Eric, last
Later.
words.
Man, my last words is, man, I gotta like get out this habit Arthur was saying about Freemasonry. And I'm trying to figure this out, that because I heard when I was on this panel, it was with Gotti 2.0 about the Freemasonry, that the black people had it first, but it was a demonic, and the white people had took it and made it as they own, and made it very, very demonic and witchcraft. Like, I probably do some research on it. Then they never, ever, ever did this kind of stuff like that when it was Black Freemasonry. With the demonic stuff, they would try to provide, like the Black Panthers, way before the Black Panthers. And I was so blown. Like, is this true? Did they made this before they stole it from them? Because it had to be started, had to be either in the Middle East or Africa. This had to be way before slavery, way before. But I had to do some research. I probably look up videos and stuff. But the Europeans, when they stole it, they want to be just them. They don't want no person of color allowed. So it was a person of color made his own called the Prince Hall Shriners. And I don't know if the Prince Hall Shriners are demonic. It could be a possibility. It is. But the skulls and bones is like, it's kind of like Freemasonry, but we can give black people, according to them, we can give black people their own brands called the boule. So we give them the boule. If anything happens, report back to us. But doesn't mean that you could be with us, you know? And the boule is not good at all. Right, author?
That's correct.
Yeah, gatekeepers.
Yeah, gatekeepers to the skulls and bones. Like, wow.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Then it had to. Then another thing that the boule, because I think Big Gene Deal had talked about this too, that they into the Omega fraternity, purple and yellow, like the color of the LA Lakers jersey and stuff.
Yeah.
And I never been to no fraternity. I'm not interested because I know what's going to happen. Because I heard that Dr. Ian Smith had initiation, had dinners and stuff. Because it was a male, and it was it was a male, and it was by his door. Somebody had like slipped it. Then when he was in some party, they called his number and he was accepted and stuff. And he knows a whole lot was going on. He didn't say as much and stuff, but it's in the book. He said about the initiations, the dinners, the gatherings and stuff like that. And they be traveling around like New York and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, he's telling a little bit. But another guy, a black wrestler, Tyler Bill, was a part of that. And he's not going to say anything about the fraternity as much. Not at all. Because that's kind of shocking. He may talk about, he was in Florida State, played the Florida Gators in football, but he ain't going to say about the fraternity like that. Just like Dr. Ian Smith did, you know? Like, wow, there is some satanic stuff. I'm like, why black people are doing what the Europeans are doing and stuff. Like we didn't do this way back when. We never did anything when we were the first ones that came. We were the first and the last on Earth before, you know, Yakon, because I had talked about this too, how he was being picked on by humanoid people who dark skin way back when, you know. That's why black people had that self-hatred, and I understand how it got it from. It had to be him, even though he was from another planet. Because we had talked about this on Asura's panel. Me and Malik and Prince of Fire and the other woman, we had a discussion. Then after that, I look up some videos. I'm like, wow. Then the story and his parents, his father, he looks like the father did date out with another tribe that wasn't his tribe, and she was yellow, like one of the Cohens in the movies and stuff. And That's why I was trying to tell them on on the panel, but it's like they ain't want to hear it. Saying one
Dimensionals.
blah 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 blah. Then about and stuff like if you don't believe me, I try to tell them, ask what we get because he got the book
Mm-hmm.
of the father of the white race. I was so freaking stunned. Like you have to accept that. Like whoa, you really do. Then they also was born with tails.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
but
interesting. Wacky, go ahead. Get your last words in, man.
oh, sorry to interrupt, but I do have to go. But
Okay, go ahead.
I do want to subscribe to all y'all channels. Blue Line, what's the name of your channel?
Hey,
Is it just-
Wacky. Yeah, to put yours. I'm sorry, Wacky. Usually what I do is I always after when I he'll still I'll go ahead and put your channel in the private chat in case you don't get it. I always edit it, so I put all of y'all channels down. So if you look in the descriptions, I'll have all of y'all channels on there so y'all can subscribe too.
Yeah,
Okay.
just
Oh, here's mine's Wacky. Here's mine's right
Yeah,
there.
he put it in a private chat. So go ahead and just subscribe to his.
okay. I'll subscribe to it. And
All y'all
also
network
Antisocial.
too.
Also Antisocial. She makes videos. Do you make videos Antisocial or?
Yes, she does.
Oh yeah, I would like to subscribe.
Oh, it's just a name, Antisocial Socialite. And again, if you don't
Okay.
if you ever come back to if you just browse around after I get done editing the stream, I'll make sure to put all the channel links in there. But if you want to look for Antisocial, her Antisocial Socialite. So
Okay.
you can look at that. Eric Melendez Battle, that's his channel.
Mhm.
So I got all of y'all, so
Yeah,
I'll definitely
yeah.
show love and stuff like that. And of
I know
course, Wacky, you already know the deal.
Yeah. I know Eric Melendez. He subscribed to me. So, Blue Line, I'm going to
Mhm.
subscribe to you right now. I'm clicking on your channel. Subscribe to you right now.
I just did that just now to your channel.
Okay, cool.
All right, so y'all got each other. Y'all good?
Yeah. And
All right, straight.
Eric, you
Yeah.
make content, Eric?
Yeah, I make content. Yeah, wrestling, singing and stuff, rapping.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Oh,
it be also non-topics. And also shout outs too.
Yeah, I already subscribed to you, Eric. I forgot. Yeah, I already subscribed to you. Yeah, my fault. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Okay.
we all good. We got it. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for coming up on the panel. Every time we get
No
into these
problem.
conversations, gets deep. I love it. Make sure anybody who's listening so far, subscribe to all of their channels. You guys sub to each other, and I'll see y'all in the next Brownstone Powwow next week. Hopefully, y'all come through again. I appreciate all you guys. Peace.
Hashtag for the culture.
For
Later.
culture. Peace. And it was another great Brownstone Powwow. Stand tuned for the next one next week, which we will be called International Embassy. We're going to be talking about melanated people, the whole entire gripe and all the problems that go on and stuff like that. But otherwise, not, you know how the deal is. I play the music before I get up out of here. So, hold up.
better gotta be on my shit. Better come and check for the foot, I can get that shit. Accidentally see the all on my shit. Oops, I said on my dick. I ain't really been saying on my dick. I was really talking about my
best known freestylers in the game.
Go out? Yeah, next Sunday afternoon. Can you do it? Sure, that sounds great. I can do it anytime you want. It's a